Alright, adventurers, or should I say seekers? Because tonight we're traveling into a strange new broken world. But I'll wait for the game's creator and our game master for this evening to tell you a little bit more about that. I just wanted to pop in and tell you that we're doing giveaways tonight, in case you didn't know. There'll be 3 prizes that can be won at halftime. One of them is a beautiful hardbound version of the Seeker's Guide, so that you can begin playing this game yourself. We'll also have the chance to win this lovely map that, it's not going to pop up now, but it's a big old map of the Asunder world, which you'll see in the game. It's printed on canvas in high quality. It is like 2 feet by 3 feet. It's a phenomenal prize, really. There will also be an exclusive prize that can only be won tonight, and that is tonight's location map. That's right, for each episode of this show, which will be once a month, we're going to have a unique location and give away a canvas print of that location's map. So be sure to stay tuned through halftime if you want to win that. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to join us at our next live one. It'll be the last Wednesday of each month. One more thing before we get into the show. I want to remind everyone that tonight's episode is sponsored by our good friends at Hero Forge. Hero Forge is the place to create your own custom heroes. Mix and match from dozens of fantasy races and thousands of items to create your perfect character, whether they be traveling through the world of Asunder, the Forgotten Realms, or some strange space dimension that you just came up with. But all of that will happen later. For now, let's see what we have in store. Adam, take it away.
Yeah, so welcome to Asunder. This is dark fantasy tabletop role-playing in a world without metal. And in this world, the people inhabit it. The gods gave them a piece of them, a piece of their essence. And the essence bonded with different aspects of the world, depending on their location. Some it was with plants, some it was with insects, some with beasts, some it went internal, and some with the sea, and some even with chaos. So this piece of essence bonds you to a special aspect of the world, and you can connect with that, or you can ignore it and follow other pathways. And in Asunder, we don't use classes. We use paths, where our characters' paths take shape based on what happens to them in the story. So you might go along the way, meet the bone army, and become a bone recruit, and then get abilities from that, versus just being a class that levels up over time. So this is a bit of our world, and it's a simple mechanic that uses a 20-sided dice and a 6-sided dice only. And the world of Asunder is dying. And those here tonight are seekers. These are those who seek the truth, those who have seen the signs of the end and have started to doubt. And as a result, they are questing for these answers. Now, this will be said with much better visuals and a far better voice than mine. I thank you, Mr. Mercer, if you could take it away, John.
The world is broken by the gods who gave it life, then abandoned it. We have been left to fend for ourselves, our divine essence bonding with the plants, which we reshaped into weapons, bonding with the sea, which then reshaped us. Next was the insects, and then the beasts of the land. We found remnants of the gods, chaos, the power to transform reality, but it was not meant for us to wield. The secret societies, with both noble and selfish goals, have tried to control it. Something has changed. Gaia has awoken from her slumber, and Asunder has begun to devour itself. The Naga have betrayed the Alliance. Demons flood the Black Isle, and the dead have begun to rise. Most deny the end is coming, but we've seen the signs, cannot turn back. We are the Seekers, and we will find the answers wherever they take us. Our story can be your story.
Hey. Welcome, team. For some reason, I am not able to hear a thing.
I think we all just waved.
Yeah, we just waved.
Okay, now I'm back.
Hello, Adam.
Right. Hi.
We're just too polite on our part.
Thank you. Well, now our fellow Asunder walkers, let's meet our fabulous cast, and we'll go around the table and see who is on this journey and what they seek. Leva, why don't you talk about your seeker?
Yeah. So I'm playing, like you said, Leva, with her really super cool kangaroo ram mixed bondmate that does some super cool stuff. Leva is looking at her. You probably can't figure out if she's a scientist or a nomad, and she's perfectly fine with you not being able to figure that out.
Or maybe she is a nomad scientist.
There we go.
You know.
Okay, to point out what a bondmate is in Thunder, Pari, people of that island, their essence bonded with animals, and in this case, yours bonded with an animal, which we're calling a you, like you're saying. It's a mix. So as a result, you can speak telepathically with this animal. You can use one of your triggered actions to get it to do stuff, and emotion connects to you.
Yes. So that's, I don't want to say too much.
And what do you and what do you seek at the moment? Can you share, or is that something you're keeping close to the vest?
What I will say right now is that Leva is seeking a solution to a problem.
Oh, we'll take it as that. We'll take it as that. Nice. All right, Petra, fill us in on your fabulous seeker.
Hello, I'm Arcady, and I'm playing Petra, who is, she's originally from Sky City, which is the floating plains where a lot of nobility live, and she used to be a noble until she got kicked out of her family for her revolutionary ideas, so she's a bit fallen from grace, and has turned con artist, and she's seeking someone. She thinks it's a someone.
Nice. Okay. And also keeping this close to the vest.
Yes.
And as a member of Sky City, their essence bonded with Blice crystals, which allow them to manipulate gravity, so you can leap massive distances. But you chose a path as a marauder because you like to fight.
I like fighting and causing problems.
Right. And what is your fatal flaw, Petra?
My fatal flaw is that I hate the nobility. So I am nobility, but I hate them, and I'm going to bring them down with me. If they're going to kick me out, we're not going to do this at all. They're coming down too.
Now, I think we jumped over Leva. What is your fatal flaw?
My Leva's fatal flaw is that she... I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. She probably relies too heavily on things that can be proven.
Okay. She relies too much on the facts. All right, we'll take it as that. What a silly person.
We'll let that. I'll let that. You'll see what I mean. It's fine.
All right, so Duke, tell us about Oliver. Who is Oliver and what does he seek?
All right. Oliver is someone who became way more attractive than I thought he was going to be at first. Just saying. That's not what my character sheet was, but when we got the art, I was like, dang, man! All right, anyway.
He's handsome.
Very handsome. Oliver Quill is his name. And he's not one to shy away of what he really is. Obviously, he seeks chaos. He wants to control the chaos. He wants more and more of this chaos that he sees. And right now, that's just kind of where he's at. And he's just having a grand old time.
And to note that chaos in this world is not chaos in the sense of just like, I want to, wreck the world chaos. Chaos is a force the gods use to make things. And however, when people use it, it destroys them. For one, it wrecks them internally, and it's also highly addictive. So when you start using it, you get on a high, and then you want to keep using it, stay on the high, and when you get off of it, you crash and you get veins, you get bad at doing stuff. And so it's a double-edged sword. There are no old chaos wielders as they burn out. But what is your fatal flaw that you're working on?
My fatal flaw is I'm reckless and always looking for a thrill.
Okay, perfect. You will be destroying yourself soon enough.
Oh yes.
Yes. All right, then Gary, why don't you fill us in on your character?
I'm Gary, and Gary is just like, to narrow it down, it's just super swole grandpa who's like trying to still figure things out. Gary is an older gent from the Black Isle, where he spent his days working in military operations, fighting demons, honing his mental abilities that he can use with others and his team, but he found there was a lot of corruption there, and he sought refuge by going and seeking out who he thought to be a virtuous bone army. And if you want to see some of his journey on that, you should go check out our previous game that we played, our one-shot on the Mercenaries of Mischief channel, where both Petra and Gary had a little adventure prior, but he also carries around a huge Buster bone sword, and his fatal flaw is that he is always looking for a fight. This man wants to throw down at the slightest provocation. So that's Gary.
Nice. That's Gary with a large cloud buster-sized bone sword, because there's no metal here. Nice. And yeah, so Gary had a run-in with the Bone Army, and in fact, because he was so valiant, they felt like you should be a Bone Inquisitor. And these are people who check on, this is internal affairs, if you will. These are people who check on bone recruits who are on patrol, who people haven't heard from in a while. And so this is you're on your journey to maybe becoming a member of the army, but this is they're starting to trust you, maybe more than they should, but they're starting to trust you. Autumn, let's hear about Neiman, or if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right, Autumn? Neiman?
Nemain, yes. Nemain is a pretty battle-hardened Kakari, and a giant winged raptor bird. Now, this bird's pretty special to her, though, because once upon a time ago, there was an event where she was looking for her bandit, for her pack, basically. And she chanced upon a group of, we'll call them marauders for lack of better description. This was a mighty gang, not the greatest people you would want to run into in the middle of the forest, if you know what I'm saying. But they were not being so nice to this four-winged bird. So she jumped in thinking like, okay, I'm going to save him. Like I'm going to, I got to save this thing. I got to protect it. And boy, she got whooped. But she managed to roll the bird just out of the way, young as it was, to avoid him being harmed any further by these people. As she did so, and she was laying there half out of it, she was branded with a mark on her forehead. Now, she seeks to know not only what this mark means for her and how it challenges her for her future and the path forward, but also what she can do to get it removed. She's covered in scars, but this is only worsened. Now, as far as her fatal flaw, she loves to fight. Fighting is her favorite thing in the whole wide world. And there's nothing better than a good brawl. So that sometimes triggers her temperament, which can cause a huge issue when trying to communicate with others.
Yes, I like this. And so, like with Leva, you have a bonded animal, which is this massive four-winged bloodhawk, which is awesome. But you paid for it with a price, right? You have a brand on your forehead here. And what that is, you maybe keep a little close to the vest, but anyone can see it, this mark.
Correct, everybody can see it.
Yes, and like Autumn in real life is like Neiman in the game, has got some big muscles, some big guns here. So you and Gary are going to get along swimmingly. You are going to be ready to really, anytime there's a conflict, you'll be for sure to solve it in the most peaceful way. And the way a fatal flaw works in the game is that when a circumstance occurs that would trigger someone's fatal flaw, and the push for violence or the desire to seek a thrill, I can ask one of the players, say, hey, your fatal flaw is being triggered. You need to escalate the situation. Or whether that, if it's a fight, it's an argument, it turns to a fist fight. If it's maybe a conversation, it gets into a yelling match. And by so escalating the situation, they get a seeker point, which allows them to give a bonus on one of their rolls later on, and it moves the story along. They can try and resist by making a will check, but they get no secret point. So let's jump on in now that we have our amazing group, ragtag folks that were assembled together, maybe purposely or not so purposely. So Gary has been sent along with 2 other bone recruits to inquire about a platoon of bone soldiers on long patrol. No one has heard from them in months, and rumors grow that they have taken up with the locals. Answers must be found, and Gary, look at that smile. He has proven himself, and so he's brought in as an inquisitor, and he brings a few of his friends with him. Leva, who he knew from back in the days of fighting in the arena, and he's calling her his left hand, which what she doesn't quite know at the beginning is that means his squire, like she does menial tasks for him, and Petra is his right hand, which is like his scout, but even his plane for the bone army as he headed off on this journey. So the town, however, that you're going to is something that many have only heard about in stories. It has been called part of the mountain where amber flows from the mountain rivers. Its real name, however, is much of glamorous. It's called Durst, after the surname of its first resident. Getting there requires a map only the likes of the Bone Army would have. The people of Durst prefer it that way, that no one can really find it. Their principal good is pure amber, and no one can quite explain how they acquire it. So Leva, very curious about this town, and that's why she said, oh, come along for the ride, Gary and Petra, once again, always needing a shield. And Oliver Quill was brought in. He had a special arrangement with the Bone Army because he's actually been to Durst before. One of very few people who's been there. And so he has led them into the Arawayas Mountains, which is in the mainland, and it's southeast of Wheaton. And this village is set right in a ring of mountains, and their overflow from rainfall and from ice melt pours down into this little town, and they scavenge the amber from it. How it gets there is still a mystery. However, things did not go according to plan, which seems to be Gary's life story in general. Upon arrival to Durst, you are all greeted by smoke, and what Oliver can confirm is fallout from chaos. You managed to locate the bone soldiers, but then you had to kill them because they had been turned into Blightwalkers. When rumors said they had taken in with the locals, this is not what you had imagined. Blightwalkers are the risen dead, taken over by a deadly fungus that drives them to consume human flesh. Something you've all heard tales of, but no one has yet come face to face with it in this group. They are a scourge from Gaia because of the misdeeds of humans, people claim. Others say it is a plant weaver experiment gone wrong. If anyone doubted the world is coming to an end, this is a sign that it most certainly is. So the Blightwalkers overwhelmed the bone soldiers you were with, and right now, Gary, Desmond, who was the last remaining soldier, and quite a nice guy, really, is having their skull consumed by a walker. However, Gary, this is an opportunity to maybe gain some first-hand knowledge of Blightwalkers and bring it back to the Bone Army. This could make a huge difference in the long game. This could also be your calling, or it could be your end. So right now, you are inside here. You have inside, Gary, you and Petra are inside a refinery. They have surrounding, you can see their little map there, you can see they have these small refinery shops that are linked to these huge stores that run natural gas in, and they light that gas and they refine the amber. And you're in one of those, and there's 3 Blightwalkers in there with you, consuming the flesh of these bone soldiers. And in fact, the entire village has been overrun with them, or at least when you last saw. outside the building. So you two are stuck inside. However, outside we have Oliver, Leva, and Neiman outside. Leva currently is being tackled by a Blight Walker and has currently sunk their teeth into her shoulder. But Oliver, he doesn't really seem to notice because he's transfixed by a small crater nearby where it is what you know as a chaos thing. It's where chaos was used and it scourged the ground, and there's discord, which is, for simpler terms, imagine it kind of like radiation. When you get near it, you get discord. For someone like you can also channel it and do gnarly stuff. So you're hooked in that addict's trance. And now, Neiman, you happen to be in the same village. Unaware of this group, though you started to follow them around when they first arrived, you noticed that Leva is another Beastmaster. Sorry, another beast, but a Beastmaster from Picard like yourself, so there's a little bond, and you're maybe a dozen feet away from her, to the side of this refinery, and you can see her getting mauled by this Blight Walker. So, like all adventures in Asunder, we begin right in the heart of the conflict. And right now, there is blood, guts, and mayhem all around you, and your great plan has been eaten up. I think as our fearless Bone Inquisitor, we'll take it over to Gary. What's Gary doing here? You essentially have one action before the Blight Walkers are done with dinner, and you're next.
Okay, so I may have misheard this. This may have been wishful thinking, but did I hear that whatever's in these refineries is like super flammable? Or did I totally just make that up?
You did not. So the way this works out, in the map, you can see there are essentially several large spores, imagine like 20 feet in diameter. It's not super uncommon in Asunder, where then they run like these lines off of these big gas spores, and they'll like light this natural gas. And you can see there in the sort of the bottom, sort of the southwest corner, you can see one of these spores, and they have these lines, like organic tubes, if you will, that run off them. And with a little bit of working, you can get them to spill out natural gas, which they use to refine amber, but it could be used to do other things.
Okay, so I'm with Petra, and since Petra is the person that I travel with most, I assume that I would have had group mind established with her prior to this.
Yeah, let's call it that for sure.
So with my group mind, I just want to say to her, can you blow it?
Can I talk back to you with that?
Yes, we can telepathically communicate.
Okay.
Gary, I fly. I don't light things on fire.
There's always time to learn. And he's going to jump in and attack whatever is trying to rip the skull off of this other guy.
So you're going in with Bone's sword.
Oh, yeah.
This is the haymaker. Okay. Okay. Well, let's give it a whirl. So go ahead and roll 1 die 20. It's a defensive difficulty of 12. And let's see what you're made of, Mr. Bone Inquisitor.
That is an 11.
You give it everything you got. This is a mighty sword, but these Blight Walkers, albeit maybe brainless, are very reactive. They're skitterish, and he ducks right out of the way. He looks up at you. He's got these fungi sort of pouring out of his eyes and ears that have shaped him. There's like this almost like puff-like stuff pouring out of his mouth, and his fingers, have gone green and look rather sharp. And he's coming for you next. Petra, what are you doing here?
Oh, Gary, I found a torch. I actually have torches. I just remembered. I can blow it up. Do you want me to blow it up?
It was in my pocket this whole time.
It was in my pocket this whole time. I did just look at my inventory.
Yes, please blow it up. Blow it up, please.
I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to chuck one of my torches at whatever looks the most flammable, but won't hurt Gary.
So the way it works out is that you can see Petra, is that there's essentially one of these organic tubes. It's not like a large hose, but it's this fibrous organic material that it's poking into the wall. And you've got to kind of go over to it and work with it a bit. It's got some vines and things you can sort of work to get it to spew the gas out. But it's not just always pouring natural gas into the room, if you will. It's got a mechanism so that it can be a little controlled for the refinery. So take a little a little tinkering with it to get gas now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start ripping apart things that I don't know what they do, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
All right. Well, let's make an intelligence check actually, and see. And maybe you have any profession with any sort of lead that you might have, maybe a farming or something that had to do with.
Not really. The only one that I could maybe make a case for is agitator. That like I've maybe pulled a gas line before to empty out a room, and like I've pulled the electricity to cause some power outages. I know how to mess things up. I don't know how to make them work, but I can sure as hell mess up a building.
Okay, great. So you've blown up a few things in your time. You've seen these spores work, and so I wouldn't call it necessarily a boon that you get to help you out, but you might be able to figure this out. Make an intelligence check. You're trying to get 10 or better. See if you can get some natural gas.
So what am I rolling for that? You're gonna have to spell it out for both me and the audience.
Okay, so you're gonna roll 1 die 20. That's
Okay.
your action dice. Anytime you're asked to do something, you're gonna roll 1 die 20 to see if you can do it.
I got a 16.
16. All right, so you jump over to this organic tube that's on the wall, and you give it a tug, and there's some slack, and it's kind of hanging out here like you're some fireman, right, holding on to this hose. And you realize on the side of it, there's like this fibrous area where if you sink your fingers into it, almost like into this sort of like goo, it latches back onto your fingers, and there's a bit of a bond there. There's a bit of a bond there with this thing, and it's starting to talk to your finger, right? This is how it's controlled. And you think you can kind of work it out. It might take you 1 strain to start spraying it, because it's gonna leak some stuff inside of you to get that connection.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
right.
That sounds great to me. Let's take a strain to pull off some stupid moves.
Okay. So you take 1 strain, and for the audience, a strain occurs when you're dealing with organic material and you're bonding with it, and it's something you're unfamiliar with, or you don't have certain ability for it. Because over that communication, it's going to put some plant-like material inside of you. And when your strain hits your willpower, you start to break apart. Okay. So boom, you get a hold of it. You got a sense of it. It's talking to you, and natural gas starts coming out of this like a fire hose into the room here. Are you putting torch in front of it?
I think I'm smart enough not to do that. I'm instead going to call to Gary. We gotta run now and then torch it. Run first, then torch it. Can you run?
You
Are
can
you
torch
busy?
it, I can run. You can torch it, I could run.
All right. I'd probably start like as soon as I like have it spewing stuff out, I'd run and I would pitch a torch at it instead of, lighting it.
Nice. Okay, so that's where you guys are stuck here. We're gonna pause right here and jump outside, right? So we'll start with Oliver. Now you're hearing some screaming in the background, and it's really kind of annoying. I don't know what anybody is screaming about because you're very focused on this small crater. It's maybe 20 by 20. It's curved up on the ground. The ground is even almost like parts of it have been turned to glass, which is a big sign of a chaos site. And boy, it's triggering that addict's brain. You're seeing that ahead, and you just want to go play in that crater.
I think what I am gonna do, what Oliver's gonna do, is he's more gonna he's really focusing on this creator. He's like, yes, I love this power. This is fantastic. But that yelling and screaming behind him's like getting into that nerve where he's like, oh my gosh, it would just shut up. And he's gonna turn around. Do I see that Leva's getting bitten?
Yeah, you took it back up. You see that Leva is screaming out, and then you see this other woman who looks like she spent more time at the gym than in the salon, coming around the corner with this massive 4-winged hawk that you haven't met her yet.
Okay.
And she looks like she could be on your team. You kind of assume that anybody who's not a Blight Walker now is trying to help you guys, right? Essentially, you've got one on Leva, and there's another Blight Walker standing up that's coming onto the scene. And imagine you guys are maybe 20 feet, 30 feet from this refinery where Barry is. You were supposed to be the support out here.
Yes, of course. To, I guess, help the screaming, I'm going to use an essence power, and I'm going to use Distort Time.
Oh, okay. I like this.
And I'm going to take a Discord when I do that. I'm not going to take damage.
Take it this
And
way.
I got to roll, correct?
Yep. So what's going to happen is you're going to essentially what you're trying to do with this, because what makes chaos unique is it delivers like sort of matter and time altering things.
Yes.
And so it does more unique things, if you will.
Yes. So is a boon the one where I roll the d6 with it and that adds to it?
Yes. And what would be your claim for the boon?
Would be my what? Sorry?
Why you said you're going to add a boon to it. What's the boon for, would you say?
It just says take 2 damage or 1 discord and make a will attack roll with 1 boom against the target's strength.
And are you trying to hit the platform that's on top of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you're going to distort time for that White Walker, so it's essentially going to become impacted or so moving so slow.
Yeah.
Like moving backwards in time.
Yeah. So, okay. I would roll. I got 16.
Nice. Okay. So this Blightwalker is tearing at her shoulder right there. You can see it. It's sort of puff-like stuff leaking out all over Leva's shoulder. And then it just...
Can I do something cool like Oliver's gonna like snap his fingers and like have them go up and down, and he's gonna like turn 1 like he's like turning back the clock when it happens.
I think it's a must that you do that. There is this spin around, the clock turns back, and that Blightwalker is slowed down, and it will be crawling like an infant.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna turn back around and look at the crater.
Nice. Okay, so you're back. You're focused on the crater. That's where the priorities are. All right. So Leva, as you're looking around, you can see that the this White Walker is clearly it's slowed down on top of you. This isn't really what you came for. This was, you had no idea such a thing was going to happen to you. Definitely, that wound is infected. And in fact, why don't you roll 1d6 real quick?
Right. That's 2.
Okay, so you've taken 2 damage already from this thing. And you can take an action to fight back, whatever you like, and then also you have a triggered action on top of that, which you can use to use your Q if you want.
Well, I don't. Do I know that Gary and Petra are inside?
Yes, you guys know. Essentially, the setup for it was they were sneaking in on the refinery because that's where one of the soldiers was you guys have been trying to locate. And then that's when the crap hit the fan and the Blightwalker started pouring out. So you know the building they're in. It's right by you, if you will.
Okay.
And you're essentially at like the southwest corner of the village. And so yeah, you know right where they are.
Okay. And are there any other White Walkers like in range?
Yeah, there's another one that's standing up that's maybe half a dozen feet away from you that's coming in ready for the ground, ready to start eating some Leva flesh.
Okay. I'm gonna just run.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just go, I guess, towards Oliver, because I don't want to leave him alone. And he did just save my ass. So
we care for each other.
I can tell there's some real love that was formed on this 1 week journey here. I can tell.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna run towards him, so that if we have to fight, at least I'm next to him.
Sure. And just so you know, he's only about maybe another 20, 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
It's all pretty short. He's not far from
Okay.
you. This crater just happens to be.
Okay. Well, that's what I'll use my action to do, and then for my bondmate for Q. Q's coming with me.
Okay.
And I should be able to, I'm pretty fast, so I should be able to close the distance.
Easy. 30 feet you can easily move in one action. So here's the thing, fortunately, because this Lightwalker is now impaired, you don't need to make a strength test to get it off you. So you put your 2 legs underneath it and jettison it out like a catapult.
Yep.
It falls over, still almost kind of falling slowly through the air, as it's forever stuck in iPhone slow motion. And you rush on over to Oliver, and you're like, "Hey, we gotta," and he's not even looking at you.
Yeah.
He's not even looking at you. And Q is busted up right beside you, and Q with this amazing kangaroo-like leap is technically that 30 feet in one.
Yeah.
And what you're feeling though is you're looking at that chaos site, and you don't have to be too bright to know what you fumbled yourself into here.
Mm-hmm.
You can certainly feel it, and stepping into that, it is going to be like, it's kind of like stepping on hot coals. You know that there's going to be a moving into it.
Yeah, I guess that's at the point that I realize why he's so distracted and not paying attention to anything else that's happening.
Right.
And I feel like this is a common thing, and so she's just like, "Oh, good, so you're useless again." Okay, and she just turns around and she's walking beside him, and just waiting to, I guess, attack when something gets in range of her whip.
Gotcha. Would you want to make a perception check for me?
Yes. That is a 19.
Nice. So, as you're getting closer over this crater, you think you hear a sound and see a bit of what looks like a large piece of bone kind of ducked behind the building. That large piece of bone could have been a shield. It could have been something, but the sound made it feel like it was a person over there. You thought the bone recruits that were up here were out, but maybe could have been one of their shields. But you saw them kind of dip behind one of the refineries, not too far from where you are, maybe another 30, 40 feet on. So let's come back inside. To Gary and Petra. So the Blightwalkers have finished dinner, and now they're coming for you. So what's their defense, Petra?
Let me find it. 14.
14, and wow, he is deaf. And Gary, what's your defense?
My defense is 11.
Right, size.
Because you got no shirt on.
I got no shirts.
Sacrifice the shirt.
Listen, there are some compromises for fashion that must be made. And when you have abs that good, it's embarrassing. So these Blightwalkers leap at you. Petra slips underneath them with her amazing Sky City skills, and another one jumps right for you, Gary, and you just butt his face with your shield and knock him back. And the third one is scrambling for you, Gary, but the old back kick keeps him away. So you're now you guys now have to take an action. They couldn't pull it together, and though you are messy just by being close to them, bits of their fungi and pus are kind of leaking out on you, and there's a grossness here that says, no shower will solve this problem. So Gary, back to you.
So yeah, if Petra's thrown this torch and this hose, I know that I've held the line. So yeah, there's just like a shove back with that Buster sword and just leaving. Like, I'm not trying to hurt. Yeah. I'm just trying to get out, like disengage.
Got it. Okay. So you guys bust out the door. You're throwing the torch.
Yep.
Petra? Boom. You jump out that door. You turn around and you hurl that torch. I mean, this is major motion picture stuff here. You bounce back to the door. Your hook is flipping end over end and hits that natural gas. And you can hear the sound as all the heat is brought out, has dumped out of the room.
Sure.
And boom, there is the gas spore. This is not like a little bit of fire. this is like you drop, maybe a truck full of TNT, and boom, there is an explosion. The spore explodes, the refinery explodes. Everyone here should make a agility check really quickly. You're trying to roll 1 die 20, and agility check just means if you're trying to hit 10 on a 1 die 20, you get your attribute bonuses.
This is everyone?
Yeah, everyone.
We blew you all up. I'm so sorry.
18.
You ruined my concentration.
Oh no.
This is what I do. Throw a Molotov cocktail and leave.
Well, I got a 3. So
6.
18.
18.
Okay.
18. So you guys came running out that door. You feel like $1 million right now. And the rest of you guys are going to be taking 8 points of damage. Explosion happens. Shrapnel goes into you. Amber is flying everywhere. You just have invented a new crater, almost bigger than the one that's just there. This is a huge, massive 20-foot spore full of gas. This is a far bigger explosion than either of you anticipated. You guys are covered in soot and spore guck, and you've been, and clearly everyone is thrown to the ground. But for Oliver and Lisa, the innocent bystanders didn't fare so well, and now have shards of wood and amber stuck in their back and thighs from the blast. As you look around, there is this echo that sort of permeates through the canyon, right? As if you can imagine, the camera pulls out the bird's eye view of this little canyon, and boom, 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 boom. And so that was the consequence of that choice. And now that you can see, you're out now, Gary and Petra, you can see there are White Walkers in kind of every corner of this village. And we'll bounce it over to our wounded group here. So, Oliver, what's happening here? You just got thrown through the air. The one thing that could interrupt your addict's brain just hit you.
Oh, I know. Jeez, I don't know. I'm gonna say, he's gonna get up, just be like, what just happened? And look around and just kind of see the chaos, and a little smile's gonna kind of creep up on his face as his living weapon is starting to put his glasses back together because they're made of vines as well. So,
nice.
Oh man, so there's a bunch of blights around us, essentially.
There's Blight Walkers everywhere. There's a chaos site behind you. Everybody's internal alarm. It's like if, in real life, it's like if you were to gone to a field and you were to see maybe a UFO move through the air and then an alien jump out of the woods. This is this kind of moment where you're like, these are things that don't happen, and they're both happening.
Okay. He's excited. But that took me all the way down to 6 hit points.
No, you're a mess. People are a bloody mess right now. This is, and yes, I like that your glasses grew back, but you're a mess. And part of your clothing is missing, like a sleeve of your jacket no longer exists.
God, I just got this. I think dang it, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to use my strength and essence so I can heal myself.
Use it. So strength and essence does is, for somebody who's chosen the bonded path, they reach into their essence, the divine spark inside of themselves, and they tap into that and pull out their healing rate, which is 1/4 of your health. And he gets that back. So you close your eyes, and especially you're close to this chaos site, so you can feel the chaos. You can get 1 more health back than just your healing rate. And it kind of edited you there, Oliver. And it comes right out. It feels like deep inside of your guts, this energy pours out, this thing that you almost never knew existed until you met chaos. Leva.
Yep.
And by the way, we didn't roll for Q.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Want to roll 1 die 20?
No. Q got a 17.
So Q...
At least he's fine.
He felt something and he just did a heroic leap. And he's looking back at you and he's like, Mom, what?
Yeah. I'm just like laying on the ground coughing. It's just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm like, cute. And he, like, I'm like trying to get Q to come back to me so that he can basically drag me out of here.
One quickly, Q leaps across. You know, there's a definite love between you and your bondmate, right? And you can feel it in you, and you can hear its brain panic. It rushes right over to you, sticks its ram-like head underneath you, and slips you on its back.
And she just is like
hanging on, right? And your bondmate can carry you, a la like a horse, if you will. Its leaping distance is cut in a quarter when you want it. Yeah. But it can certainly run. So that's some encouragement.
Yeah, also important to note, my size is half. So
you're already little.
I'm tiny. Also. So yeah, I'm just like, I just look and I'm just like, fucking Gary. And she just is like, all right, Q, get me somewhere safe, please.
Right. And this time Petra's just pointing over at him. Totally his idea. Totally his idea. Totally his idea. I can't believe it. That's not what I was expecting you guys are going to do. So, but if you look around here, you realize, Gary, your central mission is lost. Your central mission is lost. But clearly what's happened here, there's something to go back with to the Bone Armory, if you dare. It's clearly something is catastrophic at work here. Everybody make a quick perception check.
Just to say, and just to pinpoint that this is right, like 10 is the base, and if we have like an 11 or something, that means we get to add a +1, correct?
That's correct. The way stats work in Asunder, 10 is base. If you have a 9 or 8, you would get -1 or -2, or if you have 11 or 12, you get a +1 or 2.
Are we all rolling perception or just Gary?
I very roll a perception check here.
I rolled a 5.
I also got a 5. I'm very hurt and distracted.
14.
14.
I got 6.
Nice.
This is why I have glasses.
With your keen spectacles, you can see a little bit what Leva saw. You saw this big piece of bone sort of move around a refinery, and there's some sort of hand signal going on back there. It's kind of hard to see what it is. They're kind of yelling out, but everybody's ears are ringing from the explosion. But you can see something maybe 30, 40 feet away. There's somebody or something with a large bone shield or armor or something that seems to be kind of motioning to your guys' way.
Just gonna be like, hey, Gary, is that one of your friends?
And Gary will turn around, assessing the situation, and try to see whatever Oliver has pointed out.
So you can see what it is, and immediately, Gary, you know that it's a bone soldier shield. You know the shape of it. You kind of thought the guys were all dead, but there's somebody over there, and we're going to go ahead and institute our first mechanic. A mechanic we're instituting just for this adventure called the Blight Knight.
Oh,
what's going to happen is anytime you rush across an opening, go inside of a building, jump into a river, we'll roll 1 die 6. And on a roll of a 1, there's no Light Walkers, but on a roll above that, there's that number of Light Walkers. And if we roll 6 twice, then something even crazier happens. So it's a fun way to gamify where these Light Walkers are, and that you could have a threat that I didn't, as the keeper, come up with, but they could kill you. So you could end up with rolling a 6 2 or 3 times in a row and be fully overwhelmed. So make your choices less like you can always win.
Yep. Fun.
Love
Fun.
it.
So that's what you see. So you see clearly this fight. You see, this bone soldier. You can clearly see that. Are you making a run for it, Gary, or what are you thinking?
I am going to approach him. I do want to make a side note, though, because we did talk to them in the Discord. Neiman just wanted to make sure that their character has been watching us. Like, they wanted to get in this fight, but they were, like, assessing, like, kind of sitting back in the trees far enough out of, like, you know, to be involved in this combat, but they were watching us this whole time. So that's what they've been doing.
Nice.
And then, if I see this bone soldier, is he hiding? Is this coward behind this rock while we're risking limbs, saving, like, everyone here in an explosion?
Saving. Yeah, that's what we're doing here, Gary. Saving.
You're definitely.
I feel very saved.
But this is altruistic Gary at work here.
Yeah.
And what you do see, though, is you do see above you that four-winged hawk maneuver sort of low and settle somewhere in town. And so for Oliver and Layla, who saw that, you realize that to cap off what Gary had said is that somehow that this what looks like a pretty aggressive barbarian woman has hunkered down somewhere else into town. And it didn't feel like friend or foe, but maybe something to explore later. So, are you going to go after the coward?
Yeah.
Please let him know.
What are you doing? And I'm gonna stomp over. Like, what is your rank? Why are you not out here? Your men are dying.
All right. So you come charging across over there. You get over to it. And you realize this is a guy. A guy's name is Finn. You saw him. You saw him briefly beforehand. You know he's with the long platoon that was here, and he's moments from death. You can see the blight fungi is crawling over his legs, is worked its way up his legs. The pain's crazy. He's got his shield and his axe tight, and he's like, Gary, I'm not gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna get out of here. But you gotta find. You gotta find out what happened here. We gotta. Everyone's battle of men. It's gotta mean something. What caused this? And he starts coughing it. Boom! Blood's coming out, and you can see that the fungi keeps moving up his side, and he's just before it came, just before the blast. There was a figure, a man in a black cloak made of vines. And some sort of dark object with him, and we locked eyes, and then the blast came. He pops a bit more blood up on it, and he's struggling here, and you kind of feel bad for yelling at him now.
I do, yeah. Gary immediately softens and just kind of like, presumably, if he dies like this, he turns into one of those, correct? Are we at that moment? Is that what we've hit?
Oh.
We've hit the moment where they consume you. And you
From across the way, I take out my Vasha, and I'm like, Gary, if you're too soft to do it, I will.
Whoa.
And this is a moment where, Gary will... Actually... Gary was prepared to do it, but hearing Petra buck up like this, he will just stand aside and gesture and just kind of put his hand on the shoulder from the other side of this guy and say, "You'll die a soldier."
He starts to cry. He's thanking you, and he starts to cry because the moment has come that the death. Everybody's tough until this moment. And he starts choking up, and he's like, Gary, he's like, take my shield, take my shield. Do us good here. Do us right.
Yep, and I'll maneuver so he can't quite see. I have a little compassion, and take out my Vasha, which is a long sword-like bladed weapon from Sky City, and is very good at decapitating people, as we learned last time. And I'll aim to decapitate him cleanly and smoothly.
He's an incapacitated man on death's door. There's not even a roll required. But with some artful grace, you rotate your wrists, and this crystal blade, it's made from a Blyce crystal, these blades, so they're razor sharp. You spin around, and the world seems to slow for a moment, and thunk, his head rolls to the ground, and he will not be coming as well. It's clearly messy. There's blood now mixed with all the other muck on you guys. It sprays out. Gary's blasted. It's all on Petra's face. Now it looks like she's paid the price for it here. And so Gary, you have a spot where you heard the bit of information, you see the shield, and Oliver and Leva, are you coming over here close to this, or where are you staying?
I am I'm slowly making my way over there. I'm still like observing things, kind of very careless, kind of staying away from the blights as we're going. My living weapon is going to form into like a size of a small rapier, and I'm just going to kind of like have it right there just in case something does come. But I'm just very much.
Let's describe it from a This is unique to Asunder. Living weapons. In Asunder, you can have gear that physically bonds with you, and it lives on your personage, and it does a point of damage each day. It lives off you, but as a result, have very unique properties. You can only be bonded to one at a time. And tell us about what your living gear does and what it.
So my living gear, if you can see in the character art on his right arm, you see all these like vines growing out, and they all have these like little purple barbs on them as well. Excuse me. And pretty much what I can do is I can control these vines in any way I really want to. Oliver usually mostly uses them for offense maneuvers, but so I can command them to my will, and I can make any length I want. Like pretty much the vines will come out, and the longest it can be is the size of a short sword, but it looks like a rapier in a way, and I can hold that in my hand, and when I'm like done with it, I can command it to go back into my arm. It also has a reach where anything up to 10 feet I can grab something as well. Yeah, so that's the cool little gadget he has on his arm right now.
I love that. And so you're making your sauntering your way over, and just to get a little bit of lay of the land here, John, I don't know if you mind bringing up that map. If you can see that the way this village worked out is there are these streams, these rivers that all lead into this circular center in town where the water actually circles around the distillery that sort of distills the amber from the flow off of the mountains, right? And you guys are here on the southwest corner here, down by the bottom of the map, and and you see that little circle there, that's the crater you just were in, and this refinery, now there's another crater there that you've just added to it. Thank you, Petra. And that's the south gate right there. You could, in theory, jump in that river and try and get out, but you do see Blightwalkers in the water as well. So that's what you're seeing if you walk around. You're literally on what feels like a land field. So you come over and you see Oliver. You see the decapitated man, and you have to hold your lunch down. You're looking at you're like, I mean, you blew up the refinery, you killed a man. I mean, I'm kind of confused who the threat is, you or the Blightwalkers.
Right. I solved two problems. Perspective.
Amazing how you claim it's yours when it's a positive, but when everyone's blaming us for blowing it up, it's like, Gary did it.
Now you're catching up, Gary.
You see, I don't really care who did it. I'm more of, wanting to try to get out of here as fast as we can.
Agreed.
Do we know, is Oliver very open about his obsession with chaos? Like, has he told us that's why he's here? Is that knowledge to us?
He would be very open about it.
So
he'd just be like, hey.
Fair enough. Then
Anybody who wields the chaos that has chosen that path, their irises become, their eyes become a slight amber color to them. So once you cross the line, and anybody who meets you knows in a glance.
Then yeah, in a very tactical fashion, Gary's assessing how much time we've got, and I've seen that was probably something that Oliver was looking at, and I'm like, did you collect what you needed? Like gesturing over at the whatever that pit is of chaos energy.
No, sadly, I would like to have gone into it a little bit more, but I was most certainly interrupted. More of splinters going into my back. Gary, no kidding. I'm looking at like Petra.
We had to get out of here. You can see this is obviously an issue. I'm gesturing as these things are probably continuing to walk around. We can return at a later date, but we have to get what info we can and actually get out before we end up. And I gesture at this headless corpse, which I kind of roughly, because he's dead now, just grab the shield off of and just shake it off and take it.
So this is the best shield you can get. This is a bone soldier's full body shield. It has 2 huge horns that jut out of it and curve up. It's the skull of a Horrok beast, which is a huge monster beast that you have to hunt to join the army, and its skull is their shield. And so it actually adds 3 to your defense. It's an accurate shield, but it's hard to wield a 2-handed weapon. If you're using your bigger sword, you use it with 1 bane, but you can use another weapon with it, and you can also ram with it because of the hordes. So it's quite the
yeah. I'll probably stow the sword for now and just pick up that shield and like, okay, this is due. And yeah, I mean, we've got a way out now. Everybody get behind me. Let's go. Where's Leva?
Yeah, this whole time Leva has just been analyzing the best path of retreat.
Nice. So let's go ahead and we're going to roll the blight dice as you look behind you, Leva. And there are 4 blight walkers sort of crawling, not sort of, they don't sort of do anything, they are sporadic creatures, right? Because the way the fungi and the plants are working with them, they kind of do this sort of routine around, so they're juddering around like somebody pulled the frames out of the film, and they're on their way. There's 4 of them headed your way. You guys will essentially have, you can make 1 full round of actions before these 4 are upon you. So that's what's behind you toward the south, which is kind of the way out.
Great.
Yeah.
I've got kind of a myriad of potions and stuff on my person. Would it be feasible to say that I have some sort of like either a smoke screen or like something similar to that I could throw?
Yeah, you got a myriad of potions, comes from your days as a scientist. You can drop one. Imagine it's going to create this black thick smoke. Now, which is meaningful in the sense that it obscures you, but the blight walkers work by scent. So it won't necessarily prevent them from pursuit. But you absolutely get it, obscure them, they can't see. Totally an effective path.
Okay.
And now, has everybody shared, have you shared the knowledge about what Jin was talking about the man in the cloak and the dark object he had?
Yeah, we really had time to, because I want to share that with my team, but I'm more focused on getting out. Honestly, the guy sounded almost a little like Oliver by description. I was like, huh. So I'm thinking about that, but I haven't shared it yet because, I mean, we got to get out. I don't, that's debriefing after the mission, I feel like. Petra heard it, though, right? Because she was close enough, I would have thought. Maybe?
Or
I don't know.
Maybe. Depends how loudly he was speaking.
Roll a perception check. You heard it.
Cool, yeah, there we go. If only we had some way to determine whether or not I heard it.
Yeah.
12?
You heard it. You heard about it, so you know about this as well too. And so there's kind of the path before you. You can either try and bolt out of this town. You can try and get information that you can bring back to the Bone Army. Oliver is still enamored because the discord and chaos in this village is worth. It's significantly more than even when you first came here. What's the team going to do? We've got one choice before these 4 carnivorous fungi-infected dead are close.
How about run?
I mean, I'm preparing to book it, like, unless Oliver thinks he can get his stuff and go, because I'm looking at him with that look at, like, if you can get it and go, we could go, but if you can't, we need to go.
Or no, we can go.
Why are you enabling an addict? What is this?
We can go, and he can come after us, Gary.
All right.
So some of my professions, one of them is no, tracker wouldn't do anything. Never mind. I'm not trying to track something. I'm trying to get away.
Very clear where those blight walkers are.
If you guys are gonna run, Oliver definitely is gonna be like the one behind the group, as he just kind of is like still staring, just like, oh come on.
Oliver, if you run with us, I'll show you something Discord really interesting.
Whoa.
You still have that. Sorry, metagaming.
You don't know that, but yes, I do.
I forgot you have that in your shoulder.
Forget that you do.
Oh.
Forget that you do, and don't tell anyone else.
No, I won't. I was like, wait, hold on.
You want to see some chaos, Oliver? I'll show you some chaos. But you gotta run.
He's gonna look over, look back over, kind of smirk, and start to like back walk as he's gonna start to sprint out of there.
Yeah, and I'm tucked in close to Gary.
I'm gonna try to lead this charge with this bone shield, because I'm like, all aboard the bone train. Whoop whoop. Let's go.
Where are you headed towards? Are you headed? Because it said you're on the southwest edge. Are you headed deeper in? Or where are you going?
Does it appear, because the bone walkers are to the south, does the town look like it's like maybe like safer? Can we see that they're coming from a specific place, or?
I see what you're saying. Is there like a source for the blight walkers?
Yeah, like, because ideally we want to get away from that, but like if we're headed back to like a main town or a hub or something away from this, maybe. But if the center seems like a safer place, then sure, the center. Wherever is away from these things.
Right. Well, what you can see with your eyes is there's 4. I said that your back's coming towards you. They're essentially sweeping you, pushing you up from the south, right? Essentially, you see there on the map, they're pushing you up from the south. I mean, you can try and go through them, but people are already wounded.
Yeah.
Go south. Yeah.
So maybe towards the center, that big, huge. Is that a citadel that's like falling apart? I missed that one part.
Yeah, so what that is, that at the center of town, there is, and essentially that's the distillery. So these rivers come down from the mountains, and there is amber.
That was right.
And they circle around this distillery, and they collect the amber. But what's happened to this distillery now is it looks like the ground beneath it threw up, and threw up vines and earth out through the center of it, and these vines are now sticking outside of this building. It's sort of been ripped open from the inside out, and is there in the center of town. So something is not quite adding up, because that's clearly not a work of chaos, but neither blight walkers. But there's chaos behind you, so something else is at work here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for shelter at this point, so maybe I guess I'll lead the charge towards that building, because that's not the one we blew up, right? That's a different one.
No, that's to the right of you. That's a smaller refinery. That's the crater to the right.
Yes. We'll leave craters everywhere by the end of this, but for now, let's head to the not yet crater in the center, I suppose.
And I'll actually slide away from Gary's shoulder, and if there's like buildings or trees that I can climb up and leap from roof to roof to get to the center, I want to use my skywalking abilities to climb up pretty easily and light-footedly hop from one to another, so I'm above the battle.
I love this. So essentially what you can see is there's a series of refineries and homes and large trees and another large spore. And you can sort of hop, skip, and a jump from refinery to house to spore, and you can get there.
Now that I'm higher up, can I see anything that's in front of us? Can I perceive anything now from a better vantage point?
Okay, so you leap up onto this refinery. Okay, you can do that without a check. Boom, you leap. You drop the gravity around you. You can feel it like somebody's on a roller coaster. You can just feel your stomach drop, and the gravity around you seems to float away. And you leap an impossible distance and land on at about 25 feet up in the air on top of this building. Just how you do.
Yeah.
And as you look around, you get a better vantage point. You can see now that hole in the center of that distillery sort of seems to go down into the earth. You can see that there's a fort, maybe on the far north and northeast side, that it seems like it's also being torn apart by vines. There's a big scar in the ground, and then there is what looks like a manor of some kind. Like if there was a mayor's house, or if there was a prestigious person's house of some kind, you can see that across the central river that's there. And what you can't quite put your mind on is it's quite reflective in parts of the building, which is a new kind of decoration you've not seen. But there is, and then in between all that, there's the river, and you can see a couple light walkers floating in the river. You can even see a couple of boats on the on the east and west corners of the village. So that's what you're making out right now in your quick assessment of the.
Okay.
All right, so what do the rest of you guys do? She left up onto the building. She's going to make travel that way. And the rest of you guys bolting for the center of town?
I'm having to follow behind Gary because we're two people on foot, pretty much.
Yeah, if that's the way that they're going, I guess that's the way that Leva would go.
Yeah.
So Leva, you and Petra are kind of keeping speed if you guys want to, as far as these racing across it. You guys are making the big run for it. We're going to roll the blight die one more time. We're going to roll it for up top, and we're going to roll it for down below. Oh, top, we got a nothing. And down below, as you're running, you're getting closer. You're booking it across this field. And you can see that big hair in the ground in the distance. This is like an apocalypse game here. And as you're running towards the central distillery here, there's a moat that's surrounding it. And all of the water come crawling for Blightwalkers. And you come right on top of you, and so up above, in Petra, right, as you've just landed on another giant spore. It sort of shakes and shakes. It feels like it's going to hold. And Leva, you're leading the charge. You're racing along until you're about ready to collide with those Blightwalkers as they leap out of the water onto the edge of there, right in front of this distillery.
You said it's a moat? How far is it, like, if you had to try to jump it?
Yeah, so if you look on the map, so imagine it's probably about, in the neighborhood about 20 feet as far as in distance. And it's, a moat is maybe the easiest way to say it, just because it circles this distillery, right? But there's rivers that lead into this circular path of water here.
And Oliver's hurt.
I have 10 hit points again.
You're still hurt. I feel bad.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So yeah, they're coming out of the water and they're coming at us and we're running at them. I mean, I'm gonna ram them. I guess that's what this is for, right? You rammed them.
That's exactly what you can do. So there is what they call a charge attack, right? Where essentially you're going to attack with 2 banes, but you can hit everybody within your reach, right? So like you're going to plow with your shield, if you will. If you want to throw yourself into it. That's an option. Or if you just want to try and take out one person, then you can do it effectively.
You said the wide attack is with 3 banes?
Sorry, with 2 banes.
With 2 banes, got it. And what, remind me, is it strength that would give you your plus on your attack die?
For the charge attack, it's always strength. And so your strength is going to give you your bonus. And essentially, you're taking your shield and, like, ramming it to try and hit multiple people in one go. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. Let's see what happens. We got a new shield from a dead guy. You might as well use it. So I'll roll my d20. My strength is 13, so that's plus 3. And then I roll 2d6 and subtract that for the banes.
So it would be the highest of the 2d6.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is a 15, so that would be an 18 total minus... That is a 1, and that is a 6. So... Oh, math is bad. 12.
That takes you to 12. And fortunately, the Blightwalkers are not too tough to hit. You run forward with this heroic charge, and you leap through the air, and describe to me what happens, Gary. Once your feet leave the ground, what happens next?
I just, since it's a full body shield, and since they're crawling out in a wider thing, I assume I just tilt it to the side, so I'm just getting that full width, and I'm just, plowing into the river into them, because I'm like, all right, Oliver's behind me. I've already messed him up by accident, so we got to make sure we get him across. And yeah, I just lay into him.
All right. Within reach, you can get 3 of the 4. So you slam right into them. So go ahead and roll 1d6.
That is a 3.
Boom. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a strength check for them. So I can't believe it, but all 3 of them failed their strength check. So you slam right into them. Then this is flying Superman fastball special. You just boom, hit their heads. They go flying right back into the moat of the water. You stop there for a moment. You look to your right, and there's one more waiting for you that you didn't hit, and it's looking at you. You knock 3 back into the water. They're not far from dead, but they're out of commission for the moment. Leva.
Yeah, so I just witnessed Gary Superman leap across the thing. And the other one's looking at him, right?
Yeah, so imagine within an arm's reach away from him is this other Blightwalker, and it's got that same awesome pus fungus vine pouring out of it. It's still gnarly claws, and it's ready to eat his face.
So what I'm gonna do is so the gap is big enough that I could probably jump across it.
With your beast, for sure. Yeah, you
okay.
can make that roll. I mean, your jumping is quartered, so you need to make an agility check for your beast to see if you make it. But yeah.
Okay, how high can he jump without me?
Sorry, say again.
How high
without
can?
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without you, his distance is horizontal is 60 feet, and his total height is 20. So
Okay.
he when he's at a run, he can really make a leap.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna attempt to do, is I'm gonna attempt to use my whip to constrict this to get this Blightwalker.
Well, tell us about your living whip. Leva.
Yeah, so I have a living gear whip that is bonded, so it does the damage to me every day, also like Oliver's. And it's up to, I think it's up to 12 feet long, I think. And it's a constricting whip with thorns, and I can make an attack to entangle or grab an object, or something just general grabby, stabby. And so
it's a dating technique, clearly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to grab it, and see if I can get it caught in the whip. And my goal is to get off of Q and have Q attach the whip to Q, have Q jump as far out and back as quick as he can, and try to like basically yank this thing in two with the force of it.
Oh, I see. So he's kind of like clotheslining this.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah.
Let's give it a go. This is. I like this maneuver. Okay, so go ahead and roll 1d20. You're trying to hit 12. You're going to attempt to use your attack and your triggered attack to kind of work together.
Yeah.
And you're going to get 1 Bane to do this.
Okay.
Because it's fairly, but you'll add 1d6 bonus in damage.
Okay. All right. So that is a 12.
And do you have any bonuses for agility?
I think so. No, my agility's a 10, so I just break even.
And so then roll your Bane.
Yeah. That's a 4.
4. Okay, so this is a heroic leap by Q. Boy, it's a heroic leap. And the Blightwalker just dips underneath that whip, and it goes right on over its head. And then the Q leaps back around, and then that Blightwalker dips again, like he's doing the mama. He missed it. He missed him. So, Arcadia, you're also in the lead here too. You can try to do something from above.
Yeah, I would absolutely. Yeah, I'm ready to do something from above. I've been sitting here thinking about it. Yeah, I would do just a straight up attack with my Vasha. I would leap off the building and dive straight into the water, Vasha first, and try and skewer him, preferably through the throat, because it's very good at hitting throats, apparently. So what do I need to roll to make that happen?
Okay, so roll 1d20. You're trying to get a 12 to do this.
Is it strength, agility, or just straight up?
For you, it would be agility this time.
Okay.
It involves leaping.
Sorry, Matt. 14, 17.
17. You come racing down like an eagle out of the sky. Vasha forward. You go right to that Blightwalker's head. It explodes. More brain matter and fungi just plasters your face, and you go straight into the water. Practice.
Little bath time. It's great.
And now you're right next to those 3 Blightwalkers that Gary just pushed into the water a second ago.
Cool.
You look down, but as you're underneath the water, though, as you splash down here in the water, there's not only are there you see the 3 Blightwalkers, you see a few corpses lingering around in the distance. You also see what look like sort of some black tendrils that are coming down into the water, or maybe coming out of the water, spreading around the base of the moat down there, and they're leaking up onto land in a few far places. You couldn't quite see it from above, but now you can clearly see that there's this deep black color to it. Oliver.
I'm just behind Gary. They took care of the problems.
Gotcha. So there are bridges around this. You could race across a bridge to try to get into the distillery if you wanted.
Yeah. Oliver will just kind of get away from Gary and just be like, all right, here we go. And he's going to dart into there.
Yeah. Thanks for doing the hard work. I'm in. Okay.
Yep.
So Oliver you rush into the building here. And what you have seen before, you've never quite seen it. Like we were saying, the ground is ripped up. There's a hole that goes down in the center of this distillery. There's bits of pure amber all over the place. In some ways, it's a bit of a gold mine, if there ever was, because amber is valuable throughout Asunder. It's useful for all kinds of tools and trade. So the greedy side of you goes ding. When you look around at all this loose, raw amber that's been tossed around, there's a deep hole in the ground, there's vines that have crawled out. There's several bodies that have been crushed by those vines. And we're going to go ahead and roll our blight dice to see who's getting here with you. Oh, the 1.
Oh, yeah, yes! Let's go, Oliver!
So you come in, but this is the core of this business in this village, and it once was an impressive sight, but it is now no longer, other than the loose amber. I made a perception check for me, Oliver.
Ooh, 16.
Okay. You hear almost a grunting sound, like somebody is either sick or there's something going on with their stomach. It's a little higher pitched, makes you think it's a woman, or at least coming from a woman. You can't quite pinpoint it at the moment, but somebody else or something else is in here with you.
I'm going to. This is totally what Oliver would do. He's gonna start kind of like making his way very cautiously kind of towards the sound, but at the same time he's gonna like put his right hand down and he's gonna have like the vines start to like pick up some amber and put it in his cloak.
Nice.
So he's
Nice.
just being very cautious.
Like it. So as you creep closer, the sound gets a little louder, the grunts get a little bit more intense, and somebody probably come up with pain here. As you get closer and you're stepping, you try to avoid the amber, and you're looking at, 5 sapphires worth of amber here, 5 sapphires worth of amber here.
Mhm.
It's crazy value. As you creep closer back, there's a mound of raw amber, and just to the right of it, it looks like there's a door that's kind of half covered with some of the amber. And when you get close to that handle, that your hand is reaching out, you hear it getting louder, it's getting louder. You grab the handle of the door and pull it open, and there's a yelp as you open the door. Inside is a woman who is clearly 9 months pregnant and is in a spot. And
I'm going to stand there in utter disbelief and confused, just like, because he has his vines in like this total like straight up, like they're covering his hands. They're like, it's like a big lance at this point, and he's just like,
Man, help, please. I just get out of here when the Blight Walker showed up. I just get out of here, please. Oh. And she's feeling. Do you have any sort of knowledge of medicine or women?
I don't. Literally, it's all plants and being a terrorist.
Gotcha. Well, if you had some awareness of women, you might think that, this is somebody who is maybe on the verge of giving birth. You can tell she's in a way, she's wet as can be, she's wet, and, she's obviously in a state of terror, right? Things are wildly out of control, and she couldn't be in the least beneficial position. Wait, and my husband, he used to run the distillery here. Are you in from Wheaton?
Sorry, what was that last thing?
She said, are you in from Wheaton? I've never seen you before. Have you come to help?
Oh, that is very. There's a lot. He's gonna be like, I'm just a lone wanderer, but I guess I could help anyone who needs it.
Please. I mean, now I saw my husband killed, and I don't know what's happened here. That Stormcrow has been with us, and been working with us, and some things have changed. Some things have changed here. I don't know what's caused it exactly, but there was a fight.
Can I do a perception check to see if there's any like fungus growing on this woman?
Yes, go ahead and make a perception check. With 1 vein for your lack of knowledge about women.
Oh, come on. Really, dude? Really?
Just kidding.
I rolled an exact 10, and now I have a 9.
No. You don't have a vein. That was a joke.
Oh, okay. I got a 10.
That was a joke. So, you're taking a look around here, and you're looking at, without, asking her to pack up her dress, you're taking a look around, and you can see the fungi is here in place. You can tell she might have been hurt or cut. There's some blood. She's, she needs help. and you can tell that she at least doesn't perceive that she has any malice or any evil intent. You don't know the story about her husband. If you did run this place, you don't necessarily know what to think of that, but it's what's being told. So she's asking for help to get out of here. And she, please, I mean, I don't have much longer.
Don't have much longer to... And he's going to, like, point at the belly like that.
Yeah.
Gary! I'm going to tell her, just be like, grab it on my arm, and like the vines are going to go back into that lance kind of looking thing. Not a lance, like a joust end, like kind of like a large right here, and then goes into the point. And so he's like kind of holding. He's like, okay. I can't carry you. I'm not much. She's probably bigger than me. I am a very slim dude, so I'm just gonna. We gotta go. Follow me. Step carefully. There's
so
anything.
Up and grabs a hold of you, right? And she can walk, but she's holding that belly and waddling, and you can tell each step is not pleasant, but she's got no choice. And so she's walking with you. So now we're back outside. So we'll start with Gary. So you have you raced across the bridge into the distillery?
Yeah, I would have just pushed off of the ones in the river, seeing that everyone else is same thing. Just disengage and keep going.
Nice. So you hook around, you jump over this onto this bridge, and you're coming around. You can see the amber as well. You can see the ground that's torn open. One thing that catches your eye though is it looks like in the way back there is a seafarer's skiff. And that's not something, usually a hamlet village in the middle of the mountains, they don't have one of those. But not usually, at least. And you catch that out of your corner of your eye as you step inside of the distillery. And you're greeted with the same thing, the raw amber and the huge hole in the ground. And now standing in front of you is Oliver with this lance and a woman who's clearly 9 months pregnant.
Hi, Gary. We have 2 more passengers going on right now. Are you okay if they tag along?
We don't really have a choice, so yeah. And I don't suppose a pregnant woman would be capable of riding piggyback. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's not possible. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Like,
your knowledge of women is also quite limited, it appears.
Yeah. Gary is not like, can I pick? No, maybe you could, how can I get you out of here, ma'am? I'm strong.
We've got to get out of here. And she repeats a bit of the same verbiage about how Stormcrow was being helpful, and then she's not sure what happened. There was a big fight in town. The name Stormcrow is not really registering to you. She mentioned something about Gaia, and that there was a fight. And you're kind of catching the pieces. The Gaia thing starts to make a little more sense because White Walkers, some people rumor that it's her scourge, like on the earth. The Stormcrow you're not understanding, but clearly there was a fight between some sort of force of chaos, the Stormcrow character or thing, and organic or Gaia. There's some sort of conflict that took place. And that's just how to put some of the pieces together in your mind as you realize that the vegetation and chaos sites in the same place.
Okay. And it's all soaking in. But Gary catches most of it, but again, he's just like, okay, do you need me to carry you? This is how am I moving you? Can you walk? Can you?
I can walk, but I'm going to need some help to move with any sort of speed. Because she's, holding that belly, and you can tell that her stomach seems to be kind of contracting a bit from time to time, and she's, she puts her hand on your shoulder. She easily lets go of Oliver and sees your thicker, stronger shoulder and says that's the person to hold on to. Oliver is clearly not.
Oh, okay. And I looked at him like, Oliver, I guess it's time for you to pull your weight, and I pick this lady up. So I put the shield, slung it across my back. I can't do anything, presumably now. I'm just gonna carry this lady so we can move at full speed.
Boom. Those pounding biceps lips, she's scooped up, she's in your hands, and you guys come out of the distillery, and let's bounce to Leva. Sorry, let's bounce to Petra. No, Leva.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull myself out of the river. After doing my very cool swan dive, I breach the water and look around to see if anybody saw how cool I looked, and they've all run inside. So I just kind of drag myself out like a little wet cat.
So you are within reach of the
great.
Brightwalkers, so they get a triggered action.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna attempt to drag myself out like a wet cat and probably be drowned because Gary abandoned me.
Yeah, I mean they literally just you went in the water. Boom. Okay, so 2 of them are able to lay their hands on you.
Great.
And you can feel one of them, it's almost like their fingers just dig into your thigh, like somebody took the knife and just stuck them right into your thigh, and you take 2 points of damage from that, and you can just feel it. Oh boy, these guys are deadly. And the second one reaches up and it grabs the shoulder, right where you have something else there, where you can feel the pain is extra sharper, and they're ripping and clawing at it, and they tear through your jacket there, which rips open the back of your jerkin there, and they can clearly see, and you can pull something in your skin here. But then the Blightwalker immediately pulls his hand back when it realizes what's there. And so you have an action.
So I have an action?
So yeah, so you're gonna just keep continuing to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna drag myself out of this lake and go, Gary!
Go ahead and make a strength check. Go ahead and make a strength check.
I can't be everywhere.
11?
I got this, Gary.
So you crawl yourself, you get out of the water, you leave a nice bit of blood trail in the water. The Blightwalkers are thirsty for you. You can feel their hands hitting your feet and boots, but you're up over and you're now on the distillery side, and you can now see it through the shattered walls, and you can see Gary, and you can see this pregnant woman is running to give birth. What on earth is Gary doing calling this woman around?
Oh, you're kidding me, Gary! Gary, ew.
I didn't make this happen. She was like this.
Please,
I will. Sorry, I was gonna say I'll come up and I'll start trying to just drive my weapons into these blights' faces. I don't know what they look like.
And they look like, imagine there's a human face, but this fungi has grown over maybe parts of their eye or parts of their head. So you have this fungi infection at a level of 1,000. So
yeah,
we jump right into, you're rushing over. Okay, boom.
Yeah.
So Leva, let's jump to you here. You're still on the outs on the other side of the moat, on the city, the village side, if you will, and not in the distillery yet. And what are you doing?
If everything is if there's nothing directly close to me or coming at me, she's just kind of waiting. Why are we still here?
Give you 2 reasons.
And I guess she sees Gary come out and just holding, and she's like, that woman is about to pop. This is not ideal. And so I guess she's gonna have Q hop over. And she's like, what are we doing?
Okay. So make a real quick agility check.
That's an 11.
Boom. So Q punches back, leaps through the air. The Blightwalkers reach up their hands. You land safely on the moat side. You're on Q's back now. The whole team is in the middle of the distillery here. You're surrounding this pregnant woman. There are 3 Blightwalkers behind you trying to crawl in. And she keeps muttering about, this fight between Stormcrow and what she thinks is Gaia, and this land is destroyed. And as soon as you hear that name, Petra.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do I hear the name Stormcrow?
You hear. You're now with the group. You certainly hear her talking about it as if you was some sort of patron or something of this looking after them, and things have now gone terribly wrong. Her husband doing well because he ran the distillery, and that is triggering all kinds of things. Years, you've seen this name years ago, and that's the first time you've heard the name being spoken by somebody who's ever seen.
Yeah, I round on her, like, faster than this is appropriate for the situation, given her condition. I, like, come up short of putting hands on her. He was here. Stormcrow was here. It's a he. Where'd he go?
He's been here for years. He has the manor here in town. He's been controlling the amber flow for years.
The manor. Is he in the manor now?
Yeah, we're being
No,
surrounded.
Do we have to do this now?
Boat.
Yes.
Weren't we just attacking Blights a second ago?
Boat.
So-
And I point.
So this conversation's happening. So boom, the three Black Walkers are popping up. They pop up right in front of Olive where he is with his lance, out ready to start smashing them in the face. And that's we're gonna take a break here. Nice. I love where this is going, and it's only gonna get better.
Oh my god.
So, John, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick 15-minute break, and we'll be back with giveaways.
Yes, before we
giveaways.
pop into that break, it's a good time to remind you that it's time to get into the giveaway. So, wherever you're watching, whether on Twitch or YouTube, type !Seeker into the chat to be entered for the giveaway. Remember that we have a few wonderful prizes, so many chances to win. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
I'm playing Ludima Razorclaw, an anthropheline wizard who plays a magical harp.
Okay, but that's an elf.
Hey kids, are you tired of those boring old standard miniatures?
Where's that voice coming from?
It's not important. You can't defeat epic foes with normal heroes. You need custom heroes. And you can get all the custom heroes you need any way you want them at Hero Forge.
You hear that too, right?
Yeah, what is that?
Shut up, it's not important. What is important is that with the launch of Hero Forge 2.0 update, you have more customization options than ever. And now you can get them printed in full color.
It's just like I designed it!
Just log into HeroForge.com anytime, any place, even on your phone. You can make your heroes whatever you want them to be. Dozens of fantasy species, thousands of items to mix and match. Let you create virtually any character you can imagine.
An elephant man!
Wow, look, frog folk!
I made a giggle dog!
They even have robots!
A bald eagle riding a wolf carrying flamethrowers! So much freedom!
You can have your minis printed in a wide variety of quality materials, or download the STL file and print them at home. Oh, and did we mention that you can create custom images for your heroes and digital tokens for online games?
Wow, those
those
Hero
Hero
Forge
Forge minis
minis
look
sound
so cool.
great!
You bet they are. Get your Hero Forge miniatures today. After all, you're gonna need them for what comes next.
Wait, what is that supposed to mean?
Get your Hero Forge minis today.
Alright, before we announce our giveaway, let's check in with our players, see who we've got playing tonight, and where you can find them. Adam, who do we have this evening? Starting with yourself.
Yes, you can find me at Failed Superhero for myself, or at Asunder World of on Twitter, where you can find out all kinds of fun stuff about the world of Asunder and what we're doing there.
Alright, and who's next? Let's go just around the bend. Leva.
Hey, it's me, Nerd Narrative on Twitter and Twitch, but mostly I'm production manager over here at the Mercenaries of Mischief, so you can come check us out. We have a live game every Sunday, and we also have on our YouTube some new shows that are coming up. So we've got Puck in Modules, which is Sean talking about modules, and we have Necronoms, which is Skylar, who doesn't know how to cook, and he cooks. We have Running with Scissors, which is Beth, where she actually knows what she's talking about cosplay. You don't start with me. And then we have World Weavers, which is our world building show, being cut up into more digestible than our streams are. So all of those shows are going to be over on our YouTube. So go check those out. Those release on Saturday mornings. And that's me.
All right. Next up, Petra.
Hello, I'm Arcady, and you can usually find me hanging out on Twitter, which is Arcady Cosplay, because, like Sarah mentioned, I do somewhat know what I'm doing with cosplay stuff, so you can catch me crafting and making props and armor and costumes there. And like Sarah also mentioned, along with that, I will have a show coming out soon on YouTube, on the Mercs YouTube, called Running with Scissors, where I talk about how to make costumes and stuff. And as usual, you can usually find me, or always find me here on Sundays in the regular Mercs game. So yep, that's me. And my cat. Say hi to Sunshine.
And
Yay.
hello, Sunshine. Got my eyes on you. That cat's devious. Oliver, one of our visiting players today. Where can folks find you?
Hi, I am the owner of One Shot Questers. You can find One Shot Questers on any platform. I solely focus my attention on D&D comedy sketches, and I also focus our attention on, based on what our name is, one-shot stories on our Twitch channel, where we always have a one-shot every Tuesday where anyone can jump in and watch and be told a brand new story without having to catch up on previous sessions. So it's going great. I'm not tired at all.
No, none of us are tired. We all need more tasks and projects. Pen! Speaking of lots of tasks and projects, not Pen, Gary.
Oh, I have a lot of names around here. So, hi, it's me, Noctimus Sky. I'm Gary today, but, another day I'll be Pen. But you can go catch me on YouTube. I have my own personal channel that I sometimes upload on. I'm working on that, but I do stream on Twitch pretty consistently now. That's Mondays and Wednesdays, except for these Wednesdays. And then you can also catch me doing my show Necronoms, where I try to cook from the Heroes Feast cookbook, and it goes very interestingly. We've got a video of a mixed drink coming up this next month, and last month we did black pudding, but it's not like actual black pudding. It's like espresso Valentine's Day pudding. So go check those out. And I'm also always on the Sunday games playing the Warlock Penathan Wright, who wants to be a necromancer. So you can catch me there.
And I certainly don't want to leave out our fifth player, who unfortunately had to do some last-minute travel with some obligations, conflicts that came up. But here in spirit, as well as over in the YouTube chat, Neiman. I'm sorry, until they show up and tell us how to pronounce it, I'm going to keep guessing. But that is Autumn Ivy. Find them over on Twitter and on Twitch and on various other places. Now, before we get back into the action, we have some prizes to award. First up, the winner of the Asunder world map is Echo Fairy over here on Twitch. Congratulations. Get in touch with, I believe you're in the Discord server, so get in touch with us and let us know your shipping information so we can get that sent out to you. The next winner will have to wait a bit because their prize is coming along with the Kickstarter benefits. That is Wookiee Love and Hug. You're going to win a Seeker's Guide. I believe it's both printed and digital. Is that right, Adam?
That's right. And the digital just went out to backers today, so you'll get it right away. As soon as we're done with this, it will be in your, well, I'd say tomorrow. It'll be in your hands to be safe.
All right, you can start building your character tomorrow, Wookiee. And last but not least, over on YouTube, Justin Hutzel has won the detailed, exclusive map that only one of will ever be printed, detail map of the day for our location, so you can play your adventures in this town as well. Be sure to contact us, either join our Discord or reach out to us via email at mercsofmischief@gmail.com so we can get your contact information and get your prize sent out as well. Now, I'll hand it back over to you, Adam, and let's see if we can save a baby.
So if we last left off before the break, Gary is carrying a pregnant woman in his arms, albeit on the verge of giving birth, a pregnant woman. And Oliver is just about ready to run his jousting thorn lance straight through the head of a Blight Walker, and you guys are stuck in this distillery where they distill amber from the rivers that flow from the mountain. And Petra has heard a name that she has not heard, that she's been looking for some time. And all of you can notice this incredible look of recognition on her face that surprises you. And if it wasn't for all the blood and gore and mayhem currently encircling you, it might be a time for a deep, heartfelt conversation. And then Aleva, who is riding upon her cue, which is a kangaroo meets a ram, but more fun than both, is there when this distillery, which is in the center of town, it's surrounded by this water moat, and there's these rivers that splinter off from it. And there's been talk of battle between Stormcrow and Gaia. Now, Gaia sort of represents the spiritual energy of the earth. Could it maybe be her avatar? Could it be who knows what? But clearly there is a mix of chaos, and the earth has had a battle here, and you guys are in the aftermath. So I think we'll pick it up right here. Oliver, you've charged forward. You got 3 Blightwalkers in front of you, and you're going to punch one right in the face with your lance. So let's go ahead and make a roll here. Roll 1 die 20. You're trying to hit 12 or better. Oliver, you're muted.
I just got a 12.
Nice. So you come flying forward. Roll 1 die 6, because you're going to do 1 die 6 plus 2 damage.
Yes.
Because it is a deadly thorn jouster.
Oh, why can't I roll this well when I'm a DM? I read 8 points.
Boom. So tell me what happens. You leap forward and you slam this incredible thorn weapon, and what happens when you make contact with that Blightwalker, because this is the end of it.
All right, I just want to go up and just like stab it right in the face and then just like pull it out, just very quick and clean. There's just gonna be like a big old hole in the face of this blight. Yes.
And those
When it comes
thorns
back-
rip out more of that brain.
Yeah, they're like, it just shreds out. Like one of those things where I like command the thorns to go in smoothly, and then when they're coming out, they like veer out a bit, so it like chainsaws out.
Wow, this is one bloody mess here. So fungi, blood, and brain matter are kind of spewed everywhere as Blightwalker sumps back into the water, never to rise again. Leva, so you guys are here. You're surrounding this pregnant woman, and also too, there's this talk of Gary tried to accomplish something. There was also this thing that Petra saw under the water. But we'll pass it over to Leva because you have to take an action.
Yeah. So I'm asking this woman, like, because I assume she's like telling us a story and like doing all this stuff, and then Petra starts in on this, and I'm like, where is safe? Where can we go?
Nowhere is safe here. And she gives you her name. Her name is Tabitha. Nowhere is safe here.
Bo.
I was hiding in a small closet,
Okay.
trying to figure out how I was going to have this baby on my own, and
Oh, no, that's
Baby's
okay.
doing it
You're good.
right now.
No, we're good. You can hold that. We got this. Come on. Teamwork.
It doesn't work like that.
I don't know. Boat. And I just start walking as like briskly towards this boat.
So what boat are you referring to here?
You said there was a Skyfarer boat that was docked out here somewhere?
So it's a seafarer.
Oh no, that's the
skiff.
other thing. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still these 2 Blightwalkers that are pouring into the distillery. So you're charging forward across the bridge. You can probably just try and get past them. However, Leva, you're right by where these Blightwalkers are, and you can't get past them without them taking a slash at you.
Okay. I mean, I gotta get past them still. So what I'll do is, because I'm pretty fast on my own too, and I want to make sure Q's okay. So I'm going to get off Q, have Q jump to safety, and I get like wherever the frick we're trying to go, run in that direction.
So by safety you mean just jump to the other side of the moat? Is that what the game plan is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So boom, Q easily leaps over that moat like nothing. Boom, lands safely on the other side, and the two Blight Walkers are still coming your way.
Yep. I'm just running towards.
Okay, so you're gonna try and escape.
Yeah.
So they get a triggered action. And what's your defense?
Are they just coming after me?
Yeah, essentially what happens is when you're close enough to somebody they're within reach and you run, they can take a triggered action and try and grab you or stab you in the back as you're running away.
Okay. So the boat I assume is in the water, right? That we're trying to get
certainly.
to.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what I'm gonna do, is actually I'm gonna use my environmental adapt ability, and I'm going to use the ability that allows me to, for 1 hour, I can hold my breath up for 30 minutes, and I move full speed underwater and don't make challenge rolls to swim.
Nice.
And I'm diving in the water, and trying to go that way so that maybe it slows them down a little bit, or like.
I like it. So you can you can mark off that charge for that usage for the day, and boom, it takes over. Your essence sort of seeps through your veins, and your lungs open up. It almost feels like maybe it's some sort of gill functionality inside of you. You can feel some transformation biologically going on. As in Asunder, things always changing physically, and you dive into the water like a swan princess. And the two Blight Walkers, as you dive into the water, they flash their claws and miss you as you dive straight into the water. Boom.
Yep.
And you're underwater, you're breathing it like you are a fish. It's like it's kind of coming in and out of you as if you had gills. And you look around and you can see, let's go ahead and roll the Blight dice to see what you see in there.
Okay.
There are 4. That's the lucky number for today.
There are always 4.
Did you guys know Blights always go in a party of 4?
It's like we're getting 0 or 4. There's nothing in between. So you can see 4 floating Blight Walkers here in the water. And now you can also see what Petra saw. You can see these thick black vines that seem to lead to one spot here at the bottom of the water. And they seem to sort of leak out, sort of like tendrils. And some of them sort of poke above the water, but mostly they're underwater. And this triggers your secret.
I was going to ask.
This triggers your secret. And as you see this, you can't believe this is how it would come about. And all of your attention is focused on here. Do you want to make a perception check?
Oh, good.
And the way secrets work in the game, this is information that a keeper gives one of the seekers in advance that will come up in the story. It could be a betrayal, a past relationship, an objective that the rest of the group doesn't know. And when those moments come upon them, they reveal them and sort of help explain how they come to pass.
Yeah. So not great. Got a 5.
Gotcha. So you're uncertain maybe with the source of exactly where those tendrils are going to, but you can tell they lead to one point, which is what your secret is triggering big time in you. And as you're underwater here, sort of thoughts of the Blight Walkers, thoughts of Tabitha above, thoughts of this group, poor Gary who trusted you, starts to fade away a little bit.
Yep. We're going towards where those tendrils meet, I guess.
Okay, so you're swimming in deeper here. And imagine those Blight Walkers are, I'm going to roll this dice to see how many actions you get before the 4 are upon you.
Great.
Oh, you are healthy in actions. You get 3 solid actions before they're going to be there.
All right. I'm hoping they're slower in the water. That's one of the reasons why.
They are, they're like a treading waters. I mean, they don't need to breathe oxygen per se, so they can like land at the bottom. They sink. They're heavy. And they can, but they're making their way towards you.
Yeah.
But are you gonna take a deep dive to the center of the tendrils, if you will.
Yep.
Boom. So you're, fortunately, with your ability, you are swimming like you were always meant to be here. And you're going straight towards the tendril. As you get closer to this tendrils, you realize at the heart of it, there looks like almost like a black seed. It might be the only way to describe it. It's organic. It's got little furry aspects of it, and sprouting from it are these black tendrils are pouring out of it. And as you can start to see the way it's almost like that seed is like almost beating like a heart. It's pumping out this black, sort of black and green liquid that goes down these tendrils, and you realize this is how White Walkers are built. They are ekes out this fluid, and it is what connects. It is what births them as it interacts with the dead, which is what you came for.
Yeah. So, is my goal to take it? Was that my?
Your secret involves you getting back home with that. You made a deal with someone to bring this back. You didn't understand just how significant it was, but it appeared to you when you realized that this seed is essentially the pod that helps build Blight Walkers. Like the chemicals coming out of it is what spreads the Blight Walker influence somewhere. And nobody has known the source of Blight Walkers, and this may not be a unique seed. You don't know that answer, but clearly you're onto what could be one of the sources.
Okay, well,
so the weight of that settles in on you emotionally, what that means for the world at large. But your tribe back at home has your brother in a very firm grasp.
Yeah.
And they want that seed back.
Does it look like I can extract it?
Yeah, imagine it's rugby ball sized, if you will. It's what there's things growing off of it. It's not monstrous. You could essentially wrap your arms around it.
Okay.
Will it come off? You don't know that yet.
Okay, well, we're trying.
Okay. So
and the whole time, I want to be back. The whole time, I'm not telling Q to come back to me, but the whole time I'm in communication with Q.
He knows.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take your second action. So make a strength check really quickly.
All right. Let me pull my character sheet up, because I think I have a... Yeah, okay. Where's... Oh, there it is. That's a 2!
That's a 2. So you pull on this with all of your might, and nothing... It's not coming. You believe it could be wedged free, but it's stuck down there right now. And why don't you, Leva, reveal a little bit about what your secret is? Why are you so connected to this seed, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
You're just telling the audience here in this moment.
Yeah. Well, right now, I imagine as I'm reaching down in there trying to pull the seed out, all I can see is my little brother's face.
Right.
And I'm just trying with everything, because she's so tiny. Leva is so tiny. And so I'm trying with everything in me to pull this seed out, because I can see my little brother's face, because they have my brother. He's not in danger's way right now, but if they find out that I was this close to it and I didn't do everything that I could to get it, he very well could be. And so that's all I can think about is my brother. And I'm thinking about the fact that how it hits her kind of all at once, how serendipitous everything is, because it's pure coincidence by the way that things worked out that her bondmate's name is Q, because that was just where Q fell in the experiment line. He was 17th in the experiment line. That's why his name is Q. And her brother's name is Quiver. And so it's just it's hitting her all at once how serendipitous that that all of this stuff is happening at the same time, and that her life has led to this, and that she has to do this. And so she's like, regardless of if it takes another actions, if those blight are coming up on her, she's like, I have to do this. And there's a part of her scientific brain that's like, if this is the source of the thing, if I cut the source off and I take it, maybe it will not destroy the blights that already exist, but at the very least, maybe it will prevent more from being formed right now. And so she tries again, and she just...
So we're going to stop your action there. You've got one more before they get there.
Yep.
And now we're back above water here. And Neiman, am I saying this right? Is it Neiman or Neiman? We've been having a big debate here while you've been gone here.
It's Nemain.
Nemain. Neither. Nemain. Nemain. Okay, so Nemain. So above water, what you can see now, Nemain, you have been stalking this group in this town. You don't know them. You see that clearly they've been in need of help. You've come here for your own reasons, and you now see that they have taken out some Blight Walkers. They're tough. You dig that. But also, too, they've got this pregnant woman that they're now trying to care for, and they're trying to get her out of there, who clearly is on the verge of giving birth in the next few minutes. And they're trying to carry her out of this distillery. And you saw one of them disappear into the water and is not coming back up. And you also, you can see, from your vantage point, you can see the Petra. You don't necessarily know her name, but the girl from Sky City, the back of her outfit has been ripped open, and you can see what looks like this crystal-like substance on her back, on her left shoulder blade. Part of it wonders, is it a chaos shard, or is it something else that is literally growing on her? So you're not fully sure what to think of her. She doesn't seem so safe. But clearly you understand the need of this woman, and you have your own motives. But you're from a distance. So imagine you're across the river, right? Because we've got this moat that surrounds this water that surrounds the central distillery that's been destroyed, and it's the Amber Distillery. And what you do see is you see endless amounts of raw chips of amber, right? And they're big chunks, they're pieces, they're raw. They're certainly not refined in regards to what maybe you might be looking for, but you are certainly in the jackpot of amber. But you're calling yourself a good action away from joining this group, but you've decided that now with this woman, with everything that's happening, you kind of have to step in. So I'm gonna jump to everybody's action, and then we're gonna get you jumping right in. So Gary, you and Petra and Oliver are running for the skiff, right? Okay, so the three of you are racing across. There is a seafarer skiff, and Nemain, you see this as well, and it's odd to you as well too that there's a seafarer skiff this far away from the bigger ocean, but it's about 12, 13 feet long, and it curves up on one side, and there's these tendrils that come off of it. And it's kind of where the captain sits, and the tendrils wrap around your arm, bond to you, and then you steer this thing. And it's got a gaping mouth in the front where it sucks in water in the front and spews it out the back. These ships work without sails. They're a living thing that if you stuck your foot in the mouth, you would lose your foot. It's a living, breathing thing, and handling it is not for the weak of heart. So Gary, you're rushing along here with Tabitha. She's crying out in pain because you're jostling that poor stomach as you guys are racing towards this skiff. Let's go ahead and roll the blight die for you guys.
Oh, no.
Okay, so as you're getting towards it, there's 3 blight walkers. There's 1 in the water and 2 on shore nearby the skiff. So you could get around them, you could go through them, but there's something in front of you.
I'd like to cordially remind everyone I'm carrying a pregnant woman.
I will.
Yeah.
I will go up front, and I will prepare my living weapon. And I can't. I want to do it, but we don't have time. I'll go and attack one.
You're going in. Just fight.
Yep.
Okay. Roll 1d20. You're trying to get 12.
I missed.
Right. You sweep that thorny blade. The Blightwalker ducks underneath it, and it's coming for you. Petra, what about you?
I mutter, amateur, and I pull out my Vasha and go for the one that he just missed.
Miss, please miss.
Nice.
I got a 14.
Dang it!
Nice. Nice. And also remember,
Would've been
you have
hilarious.
water abilities you can use, such as exploit weakness, etc., from time to time if you want to get crazy. But you go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. So that is 1d6 plus 2 because I have deadly. 3 plus 2 is 5.
5. Wham! You come down right on that Blightwalker, and its left arm drops into the water nearby. Its fungi pus is spraying out, and fluids are blasting around. But you've lopped off its arm, and it's struggling to stay
And
on
I
its feet.
turn around at Oliver and I curtsy at him.
Nice, nice. So
And he's just like,
hi. Okay, so Nemain, this is your opportunity to take an action if you want. You see the group that's here that's trying to get on this skiff. You also see all that amber, and you see the woman underwater. What do you want to do?
Listen, I've watched this group get out of worse so far, so I'm sure they'll figure most of it out. But my concern right now lies in the woman in the water, because that's not helping itself right now.
Got it. So are you diving in after, or are you?
So, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to send my pack mate out to try to skip across the water to be able to grab him or grab her with his claws to help her out and give her a hand to start, while I try to watch the situation with the group going on next to me.
All right. So where you're going to have your hawk take a dive, we'll call it that as far as it's going to actually have to go underwater and do one of these maneuvers with its wings, try and help her out. Let's see what can happen. So that's a pretty deft maneuver. So I'm going to give you 2 Banes to accomplish that. So roll 1 die 20. You're trying to get a 10 or better, and then you're going to roll 2 die 6 and take the highest one of those 2 and subtract it from your 1 die 20 roll.
Due to my situation, may I ask for a courtesy roll from one of my peers, please?
Yes, it's coming here for you. We got it, and look at a 15. Okay, so you got that. You got a 13 minus 2, so that takes you down to 11. So boom, that Bloodhawk bursts through the water, and Leva, you're down below, and you look up, and you just see this red, massive form with claws and beak coming straight for you.
That's my baby!
Your heart is pounding, and those claws, they grab you, and it starts to pull you up.
Okay, so I'm...
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm not going to resist the pull. I'm actually going to lean into the bird pulling me, but I am holding on as tight as I possibly can to this seed, hoping that if this bird rips me out of here, that it's taken me and the seed with it.
I love it. So here's what we want to do. If you're going to make another strength check, you've got a boon now because you've got this bird helping you out. So you're trying to hit 10 on 1 die 20 plus a 1 die 6.
That dice wasn't working for me a minute ago. Let me switch here. All right. That's a 16, let's just see, and a 4 with my boon. So that's a 20.
Nice. Okay. So, 54, yeah, so boom. The talons grab, they sink into your shoulders, holding most of your leather and your clothing, and it gives a pull like you've never felt. And you're holding on for dear life, and boom, this rugby-sized black organic seed bursts out, and this fluid flips out of the water and starts swirling around you. Make a strength check.
Good. What I'm so good at.
Yes.
That one is a 15.
15. So you inhale some of this black fluid that goes into you, and you can tell the cells inside of you are trying to fight this thing, but you're not converted into a Blight Walker. Instead, you take 1d6 strain. So roll 1d6.
That's a 5.
Boom. That is a heavy hit. If that's going to hit, as soon as that hits your will number, you're going to have an essence break, which has all kinds of very exciting effects.
Well, my will's 10, so I'm
happen.
okay for now.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so you can feel that it is inside of your body like a poison that you're managing to fight.
She does not care.
She's holding on. It doesn't matter. Boom! She bursts out of the bird bursts out of the water, and once it hits air and it's going, you're a lot for it to carry. So it sort of slumps you down on the shore here, and the bird, flapping its wings like crazy to get the water out, and it's fluttering back up into the sky. The rest of you can look over and you clearly see this yoked out Pakari woman who you noticed earlier is standing maybe 50 feet off. She's got this hooked looking axe. This action makes you think she's your friend, but the biceps make you careful. And so we're going to bounce this action over here to back over here. Actually, we have the Blight Walkers who are nearby you. So they are going to go for Petra and Oliver.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are. And what's your defense, Petra?
14.
It's 14, right?
Yes.
And what's yours, Oliver?
11.
Okay.
I am shirtless as well.
Yes. Listen, fashion is worth it. So that Blightwalker leaps onto you and it sinks its teeth into your bicep and bites a chunk out of your arm and rips it out of you. You're going to take 5 points of damage, Oliver, and it spits it just spits while it swallows that nice hearty chunk of your bicep. Lose 3 months of working out.
Yeah.
So it's coming at you. Petra, you, however, carefully avoid your attack. And once again, you can never understand why Oliver can never get it.
Yeah, I just lean to the left a bit and come back and just stare at him incredulously. There we go.
As I'm bleeding, just
Yeah, I'm sure there's a very stern Petra, just like at
Well,
her.
if he had hit it, it wouldn't have been a problem, Gary.
if my back wasn't blown out, I probably would have hit it.
Children,
Is it always
please.
like this?
Yeah, I imagine we're being loud enough that you can hear us from 50 feet away.
We start the slap fighting.
Yes, it can certainly be heard. And so, but now what everyone has laid eyes on is they can see that Leva in her hands has this large black seed, and there's this fluid leaking out of it. No one's quite sure what it is, but nothing about it makes you think it's so good. We're gonna bounce. We're gonna take back up the lineup here because we've got Gary. It's back to you now. You could probably try and get onto the skiff if you wanted. The Blightwalkers are a little occupied with your friends. You could probably maneuver around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've got this woman, so I'm going to carry her and try to get on the skiff, and if I have time, sit her down and maybe, I don't know. I mean, Gary's done that before, but Gary also knows what happens when you interact with these things, and he's like, oh, God, no, I've got to put my arm in it.
Yeah, it's a little on the gross side here. Okay, so you dip in, you rush, you get onto the skiff, you step on it, and you can hear a growl as it comes to life, right? Some water sputters out of the back of it. The teeth in the front kind of go up and down, and you set her down, and she's starting to have contractions here. She's in a place where the baby will be coming short. So are you trying to take the reins of this skiff?
I mean, Oliver's very in rough shape. I don't know what's happening to Leva, and Petra needs to help Oliver. So, yeah, I think I'm the only one, because this hurts you, right? I know this is going to hurt to do this.
You take strain bonding with this kind of thing. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll do that. Do I have to remove the living bracer that I have to bond with it, or is this a separate thing?
So what you can do is you can bond on top of that to this thing. 'Cause this is less a piece of living gear, and this is a piece of gear which you're going to manipulate. Right?
Gotcha.
So now you're still going to take some strain. You're going to take 1d3 strain to link in because you've already got your living bracer giving you the strength. So let's. Are you ready to jack in?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll just put my arms in it and I'm like, all right, come on, let's go.
Nice. So roll 1d6 and half it.
All right. This is a 3, so a 1 or a 2. Do you roll it?
Oh, right. So I sorry, 1d3, 1d3. So how much you would get a 2.
Okay.
So you now have 2 strain. The pump just you can feel that, and it's like your bracers. You're familiar with the crustacean living gear, and it shoots it into. You can feel it your chest, just boom, 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 pumping from it. But the ship accepted you, and you can steer this as best as a person who doesn't know how to steer a ship can.
Perfect.
But it starts chugging water, and you got a pretty good shot at making it out of here.
Cool.
And so, Petra, what about you?
Yeah, I'll take another swing at the guy I'm dealing with, and I am going to use Exploit Weakness to try and finish him off and then hop in the boat with Gary. So Exploit Weakness is I make an attack roll with 1 Bane. So attack roll is 16, and the Bane is dropped it on the floor, so I'm going to re-roll it. The Bane is 1, so it's a 15 to attack.
You still hit it.
All right.
Hit, and then that gives you some additional damage.
Yes, I get to do 2d6 extra damage, so I attack with 3d6. And the damage is 6, 9, 10.
Boom. Okay. This you take your bladed weapon and you swing it right up between that guy's legs and you split it in half, and it just collapses in front of you and plumps back into the water here.
And I turn to Oliver and I say, "You're welcome," and I hop over to join Gary on the boat.
All right.
There's one more blight, right?
There is, but you can deal with that on your own.
I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to do it.
You hear from the boat, children, please.
He's like 40. I have an excuse. I'm actually young.
Nice. So, Oliver, what are you doing here? You can try and run away from this blight walker, but we'll get a triggered action to try and grab at you, or you can try and send it to its watery death.
It's right next to me. Okay, so I guess I have to. I will do it. I got this. I'm gonna attack it. Here we go.
Get it.
This dice.
Come on!
Oh, come on. Okay, that's fine. It's well over 20.
Nice. Well over 20. That hits. For
Good.
the record. And roll 1.
I know. It rolled and I saw 20 for a hot second, and then it rolled the 19. And I was like, I'm not bitter. It's 8 points.
Boom. Tell us how you finish this guy off.
Eight points.
Yeah. So tell us how you finish him off, Oliver. What happens? I think I might have frozen Oliver for a moment.
He may have frozen himself in time again. Yes.
Yes, he distorted time on himself this time. He takes his thorn lance and he drives it through the chest of this blight walker, ripping this, grapefruit-sized hole in the center of it. It slumps into the water, which has now become a muck of stuff you can't even imagine being in. And Oliver jumps on to the skiff. Now we've got Petra. Everyone's on the skiff except for Leva and Nemain. Now, Nemain, it's your action here. You can see you can see this group is all jumping onto this skiff. It can handle a couple of people. This is built to essentially handle this size of a group, though you'll be every inch of what's on it. So, Nemain, what would you like to do here?
So, man, this seems like a lot of stuff going on at once. Now,
Yes.
what do we got? What do we got that Oliver decided to do and is cranking out right now? Just so I can glance over and take a good look at that event because he does still have the pregnant woman with him.
Yeah. What did I do before my Zoom crashed?
Well, you destroyed the White Walker.
Good. I wanted to shoot that vine in there, and I wanted the vines to just like spew out where it just causes this carnage, and I'm just gonna look at Petra and be like, and curtsy to her and get on the ship.
As you should.
You are useful sometimes.
And I did it with one bicep.
Right. So you're holding your bloody arm. Everybody's piled onto the ship. So, Nemain, so you're in a spot where everybody's on the ship now except for Leva, who's on the shore holding this black seed. And then there's in your action, you can either jump on the ship, you could run to Leva. You're close enough to the action to jump right in on whatever you would like to do.
I'm concerned about Leva's obsession with this seed because I'm already suspicious of a few events that I have watched as I have stalked this group through their various journeys. But the one that concerns me the most is the seed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
clearly it's a thing.
Yeah, it's just that's the truth. I'm gonna stand by my action to approach Leva with some caution and inquire about this seed while introducing myself because I am not a rude, yoked out barbarian chick.
Nice. Okay, so you scoop on in. So tell us how that plays out. You rush on over to Leva, you scoop her up, and what do you say to her?
So here's the thing. I noticed the seed you've got a little bit of a thing for. That's fine. I don't judge. But here's the deal. We have stuff to do. Your team is clearly on the boat. My name's Nemain. Are you coming with me, or are you going to stay here with the seed?
I have to take the seed home, so...
All right, fine, whatever. Can I have the seed and I will help you?
You probably don't want to. Probably don't want to get near it. Is it still putting off these like vape? These like.
It's still a bit of leaking going on with this thing, and probably will be for the next few minutes.
Okay.
Because imagine it was connected to things that you ripped out and it's leaking out of it. Yeah.
Do you have like a really good bag or something that like we can contain this in?
Could I get my Bloodhawk to assist with the carrying of the seed if he wouldn't be affected?
I mean, anything touching this is going to get affected by it. There's no. If you're going to make contact with this thing, you're going to get affected. There's no way around it. Mm.
All right. I don't have a bag. You've already touched it. Let's go. I'm going to assist to carry. Throw an arm around me. I got you. Let's go together.
Okay. Leva's just looking at this.
She's not just a yoked out mean barbarian.
Yeah.
That you know of yet.
Leva's just like looking at this seed, just kind of in awe and disbelief that she has it. She found it. Now
okay, that's it. Nemain grabs Leva by her upper arm and yanks her forward towards the boat.
Great. So let's. I'm going to go ahead and make a strength check for you. You just hoist her up, and you start hustling for a boat. You can feel this woman is a strong force of nature here, and she scoops you right up into the air.
I'm also very tiny, so
yeah. And you're capsized.
Super
She's
easy
running
too.
Full speed for this boat. And boom, she jumps onto this boat. Now you're all on the skiff, and we're gonna go ahead and roll a perception check for you, Autumn. And I know you're.
Go ahead, we're good.
When you're picking her up, and as you've got her this close to you, you notice something tucked inside of her jacket. It's a piece of refined amber, very refined, and there might be inside of it what looks like a horse.
like this.
That's an item of interest to me. Where did you come about it?
I found it in a city. It was a city that used to be active when the gods were here, but now is just kind of in ruins and disheveled, like the rest of the world.
The man is looking at Leva with some suspicion and narrowed eyes, but she accepts the answer. She's more curious now about whether or not she could make a deal to obtain this item from Leva.
Well, you have rushed onto the skiff. You're onto the skiff, Autumn. You're looking at this thing. It's within hand's reach. You're holding this girl up, and you've now jumped and landed on the skiff. And clearly, you both have something the other person is a little worried about. So you land on the skiff here. I'm assuming your hawk is circling above. And Gary, where are you leading the group?
Real quick, is Q on the boat? I know that Leva has Q. I know that's important.
Q can't fit on this boat with the whole package, but can certainly
follow on the ground.
Follow on the side, yeah.
Okay, and the only other thing is when they come aboard, is this thing clearly a seed that she's carrying?
I mean, it's clearly a seed of some kind, yeah.
So as soon as Gary sees this, his eyes go wide, and he's like, "We need to talk," and then he just guns it.
Boom.
And if you want to know why he's weird about it, you got to go watch the previous one shot.
Gary is very loathsome of seeds, very loathsome. So boom, so you get on this thing, and this thing starts chugging water and spewing it out the back. And starts spewing it out the back. And as you're whipping around this distillery here, water's spraying, you can see a guy on the shore kind of waving. It's an older guy, maybe in his late 60s. Hey, take me.
We have room.
Yeah, do we have room?
You could try and overload the boat if you want.
Sure, the boat can deal with it.
Gary.
Nice.
Look.
So Gary motions him on board here. You guys are packed in like sardines, as enough it is, and this guy leaps through the air, and boom, and lands on the edge of the boat. And the man reaches out, gives him a hand, pulls him up on the side of the boat, and she looks back at seeing a pile of blight walkers, and she looks at Leva and says, I'll be coming back for you. I'm going to take care of these guys. And she leaps off the back of the boat and swims to the shore and readies her axe to lay waste to the blight walkers. And that's the last you see of the yoked out barbarian woman who could be mean or nice. As you zip around through the water. And you look at the guy, he's a salty looking guy, late 60s, has definitely worked here in the waters and the mines or around here all his life. And he's thanking you guys for taking him. His name is Morwen. Anybody want to say anything to this man who just hopped into your party?
If you do anything shady, we'll kill you.
I'm a follower of the Maker of Mountains. I'm one of the few faithful left here in town. I wouldn't dare. Things, and he says, and to be honest, you're sitting on my boat.
Oh, well. That's fair.
Obviously, it's not your boat at the moment.
I'm understanding circumstances are different right now, considering, the whole end of the world about ready to happen in our neighborhood. But this is my boat.
Can you drive it better?
He scrambles over, squishing around. Petra almost falls off. Oliver's hanging on. Leva's squeezing in between legs. He gets to the other side, and he takes the hold of the reins, and he can manage it much better. And he starts speaking a bit more about this Maker of the Mountain. And that he, you can tell he has some religious devotion to this, which seems odd that he's got this gift. But he's mentioned he's got some religious devotion to this. And he's He's now finished circling the distillery and is on the south road, heading on his way out of town. And he's talking about this Maker of the Mountain and how Gaia has offended the Maker of the Mountain, and this is the consequence of it. The world has started to tear itself apart, and that the Maker of the Mountain comes from before Gaia, before the gods, with the bringer of the amber. He seems to be sort of just spilling off his fervor, and you can tell he's a bit wounded, and he's probably just in shock from everything around him being ruined. And he's cruising down the South River on the way out of town, and just as you look to the left, Petra, you see a manor.
Mm-hmm.
And there seems to be some shiny elements to it. And also for the rest of the group, you can now see that Petra's jacket, what do we call this?
It's probably a jacket, armor, whatever.
The
Clothing.
jacket is ripped open in the back, and her back is exposed. And you can see this, what looks like crystalline something. Is it Blyce? Is it Chaos? It's blue, so it doesn't make you think of Blyce, but it's growing on her back with the left shoulder blade. That seems like a conversation that you need to have with her. But you guys are barreling down the water, but you can see the manor that they spoke of that was Stormcrow's.
You live here, don't you? This is your neighborhood? You've been here a while?
All my life.
Who's Stormcrow?
Stormcrow?
Who?
He's a protectorate. In exchange for some amber, he has always kept us protected and invisible from the world.
Always? Like, how long always? Like 20 years always? Or 200 years always?
20 years always.
Where is he now?
Haven't seen him. There was a fight. There was a fight between Stormcrow and something that we've never seen. A tall woman, 12 feet tall. Vines growing off of her. It was a bloody battle. There was a burst of chaos, and then he was gone.
Petra is used to missing trails of Stormcrow, and fine, whatever. The asshole who stabbed me with this told me Stormcrow would find me, so if he's not here, he can find me. Oh, this. Oh, you want to see some chaos? And I turn, and I show Oliver the crystal that is sticking out of my back.
Oh, is it a crystal or was it glass?
No, this is glass, and it definitely has chaos. You instantly know that this is a chaos shard.
Okay.
You've seen these, you've touched them before, and the fact that it's lodged in her and sort of growing now, there's some growth. It's like, as you know, sometimes crystals can grow and morph. This piece of glass has started to do the same, and it's growing into her. You can't imagine what removing that would be like. Think of how when you break it, chaos shard, it explodes, which would mean likely the end of Petra.
Right. It just Oliver's gonna look at it and be like, we weren't so close. I would have taken that out right now, but
Well, it would probably kill you too if you did.
And I'm over there blotting this pregnant woman's forehead, and I'm like, and if it didn't, I would have.
Yes.
Sorry.
Tabitha starts to go into major contractions here, and as Leva, who has a proficiency in women, she has actually a profession and understands them, realizes this baby is coming right now on this boat. It couldn't be it couldn't be less modest, it couldn't be less convenient, but it is coming, and Tabitha starts crying out.
Yep. Leva will find, I assume on this boat somewhere, there's a tarp or something that, like, somewhere I can, like, some way I can cover the seed, stash it somewhere, so that I'm not just carrying it around amidst everyone.
Oh, you're going to say we should just throw a tarp over the lady.
Be gone.
Problem solved.
There are some nets that Morin has attached to the side of the boat.
Yeah.
Where you could literally put the seed in, it would hang on the side of the boat.
Okay.
That's a quick something.
Sure, if that's the best we got, that's the best we got. And then once
That's the best you got. I mean, right now you're speeding away, and we need to go ahead and roll the blight dice as you're heading down this river. Oh man, there are 6 blight walkers that surface up out of the water here that were down below. You can see the gates out of town. You're on the skiff, and they surround it like sharks. They burst out of it. And on the shore to your right, you can see a man in a black vine cloak. He's a bit hidden by some of the buildings, but he's watching very carefully. And it's almost like, in some ways, these Blightwalkers he's controlling like marionettes. Boom. Oh, go ahead, Oliver.
May I use one of my powers and begin maintain the high?
Maintain the high. So this gives you now, because you're using maintain the high, gives you 1. You tap into chaos, and it gives you 1 boon on everything you do. You are high with the power of chaos, and you want to keep this going. But there's 6 Blightwalkers that have burst up around the water. Morin is freaking out, praying to the Maker of Mountains, whoever this Maker of Mountains is. And we're going to go and balance the turn. We're going to go ahead and start with Oliver. He took the first initiative. You're feeling the high of chaos?
Yes.
And Leva, what about you? Because you're the one that's currently dealing with this childbirth that's happening right now on this boat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're preoccupied with birthing duties.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any proficiency in maybe medicine or
Well, I
women?
have science, apothecary, and nomad are my... So...
Great. You're set for this. You understand the skills of midwifery. You also, like you said, you have a few potions, you have salves and things that could probably help this poor woman out.
Yep.
You have some sawgrass root you could give her to take the pain down. So it happens you are qualified in the Department of Women and Medicine.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my focus is at right now. And
nice.
I'm kind of like
Okay.
the other 3. Hopefully, they're fully capable of handling everything else that's happening.
I love this. So along the shore, so Q is running alongside the shore full speed. It's ram horns, boom, it's pounding, it's keeping neck and neck with you on the boat. Because this is one fast boat. Seafarer boats are much faster than any other boat on the water because of how they work. So you're there, you're trying to comfort her, you give her some sawgrass root. Now, Petra, what are you doing here?
You're muted.
I was muted. My screaming beetles say that I can describe specific creatures to be ignored. Is that true? If I use a screaming beetle, the people on the boat could ignore it.
That's right. However, for Blightwalkers in particular, they can't be affected by screaming or charming or any of these things because they're like a...
Well, there goes my idea then. I was going to try to deafen them.
Would you pull your weight, Petra?
Oh my god! I'm so tempted to just skip a turn and sit back to spite him.
no, I'm kidding. As I wave my flappy bicep.
Yeah, I lean back and start to put my Vasha away and kick my feet up. But no, I will pull my Vasha back out, and since it's a new round of combat, I will attempt to exploit weakness again and roll an attack with 1 boon. Which I rolled a nat 20, but but a Bane would take that away. Bane would take it 4 away, so it's a 16 to hit.
16. So boom, you slam your Vasha right into the head of that Blightwalker that just popped up right on the edge of the boat, and boom, you split it in half. Just like a watermelon, it slumps back into the water here. Do not mess with Petra.
Oh, Oliver, is that enough weight pulling for today?
It's enough mouth running, you two.
So Morwen, who's here on the boat, he's panicked here. He's trying to dodge these Blightwalkers, but their hands are grabbing the boat. There's no getting out of it. Gary, what are you doing?
This dude in the cloak, how far is he? Like in the black coat on the shore or whatever.
Well, he's medium range. He's medium range.
I look back at Petra, and I kind of kneel and get in a position. Like, it looks like I'd be throwing a spear, because I know she's from Sky City, and I'm pretty sure we've done this before. And
Yeah,
I
we
look
have.
back at her. I was like, my left hand, are you ready to throw hands? And I'm like prepared, and I get in this position, and I'm essentially holding my action to throw her.
Yeah, and I'm like getting ready to spring into his hands.
I'm gonna dart, like javelin throw my
Yeah.
companion at this dude, because we got to cut the head off of this thing.
They're doing get help.
Okay. Okay, so you are. So you grab. You could use your action to launch Petra. You sit back and you throw with all of your might. Let's go ahead and make a strength check.
All right.
Please succeed.
Ooh.
Please don't throw me into a tree. Or
If there's
something.
anything that I'm theoretically good at,
Just not one. Pew!
that is a 15 plus 3, so it's an 18.
So you hurl her through the air. Once again, you can leap at 10 times a normal person's distance. So call it you can close to 60 feet away that he is. You're leaping through the air. You've got your Vasher. Now you need to go ahead and make an attack roll. You have one Bane, however, because you're being thrown through the air.
Could I use seize the advantage to attack with to attack with a boon, which would then negate the bane? Or wait, not negate the bane, but like. Yeah.
Yes. If
Yes.
you have a
Yeah.
boon and a Bane, you just don't roll them. Yeah.
I got a 13.
So you come flying through the air, and it is beautiful. This is MCU level leap through the air. The Bosch is coming down. It's swinging for all of your might, and he holds up his hand, and a Blight Walker just bursts from the ground and leaps in front of you, and your blade hacks into that and misses him. And he just looks at you and waves his finger, and he says, "You look like one of Stormcrow's pets. You should run back to him before you end up dead."
Well, I would if I knew where to find him. Do you know where to find him?
One doesn't find him. He finds you.
Useful.
So what you're facing is clearly this man. He takes a step back and he opens his hands, and what comes barreling out of one of these buildings is a Blightwalker called the Behemoth. It's essentially, it looks like 5 of them grown on top of each other, like they crawled on top of each other, and the fungi grew and connected them, and it's this monstrous thing, maybe a dozen feet tall, massive, and his arms swinging a swath, and he says, "You should have stayed with him. I can see he's shaping you quite nicely."
Gary!
He sort of vanishes away, and this Behemoth is charging for you.
Cool.
Okay, so now we've got the 5 Blightwalkers that are at the boat that are going to attack, right? So we've got, 2. Okay, so.
Nope.
Okay, so you got 8 damage coming at you, Gary,
Oh.
and 3 damage coming at you, Oliver. These Blightwalkers that you're bursting out of the water, they're digging, they're clawing, they're punching their fingers through your armor, digging into your flesh. One of them is literally biting onto your foot, Gary. It's literally sunk its teeth into your foot through your boot.
Ow.
Warren is screaming, praying to the maker of mountains, and the boat is racing to get out of town. You know, Petra seems to be fading behind you guys. All right, so we'll flip the turn back around, and we'll start at the top here with Leva. Are you taking any more actions? In fact, we're gonna roll a 6-sided dice to see. In one turn, one round, the baby will come.
Okay.
So she's screaming out, she's pushing away. There's blood, there's blood coming at you on all angles. People are screaming. Tabitha is screaming her lungs out, pushing for all she's worth to try and get this baby out of her. And you're there trying to help her push. You're trying to coach her through this. And in the next round, she'll be here.
Great.
Oliver, back to you.
Cool. If we passed Petra, how far would she have been from us technically?
Well, essentially what happened is you were driving away. She leapt off. So now you're speeding away from her, and she's just on the shore now facing against something likely beyond her capabilities.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oliver's just gonna be looking out at Petra, kind of like just staring as Petra gets smaller and smaller, and just kind of. He's gonna turn and look at one of the blights, and he's going to just. Yo, has anyone seen like Full Metal Alchemist? You know, he's gonna make like a vine thing, like how. Oh, who's the main dude? I can't think of his name right now.
Like the assassin blade?
Yeah, the assassin blade. Yeah. So it's just gonna come out, and he's gonna attack one of the blights, because what else can I do? But I'm high off of awesomeness. Oh,
Did you get a boon?
no. I rolled a natural 1, but I had a boon, so it gave it a 6.
It's a 7, so you slash at it with this incredible full metal alchemist passion, but it's not enough. Boom. And
Sad Petra's gone now.
We're over here to Petra, and what you can see racing alongside of the boat is Q. Is racing alongside of the boat, and Q is kind of looking at you, and it's racing alongside on the shore side, looking at you like, what is this girl doing? And it's trying to keep in time with the boat, but it's even falling a bit behind. Then you have this mysterious man in vines who's clearly powerful, and this behemoth of a White Walker.
Yeah. Petra just says, fuck this, and is going to run as fast as she can. Can I, leap to the boat, or is it too far? Or can I leap to Q? Is there anything within Sky City?
You can get the Q, not the boat. Because to get off the boat, you got pushed, plus your leap, and then it's going away from you. But Q, you could try and get on Q.
I trust my chances with Q, and let's
you
figure
need
it.
Some help from Leva. You need some help from Leva.
Can I get some help from Leva?
Leva is mid baby delivery, and she feels Q like they have a communication thing, right? Where Q's like, is this and Leva's like, yeah, whatever, I guess.
All right, so make an agility check, because essentially Q is at a full sprint, and you're trying to leap onto its back and hold on. And so give me your best roll. Make an agility check.
With agility.
1 bane.
That was a nat 20 plus 3, so 23 for agility plus a bane, minus 3, 20.
So you leap with all you've got, and you land safely on the back of Q. And there's a bit of a jerk, as Q wasn't quite ready for that, kind of sending a message to Leva. Hey, I thought this person was good at controlling gravity. It should have been so heavy. But Q is busting down the road at full speed, and the behemoth, while imposing, doesn't have that kind of speed. And you glance over your shoulder, Petra, one last time. You see the man in the black vine cloak, and he just sort of chuckles at you. And just waves the finger that he knows. You'll see him again.
With one hand, I'm holding on to Q, and with the other hand, I'm flicking him off as I ride away.
He just shakes his head and turns around and seems to sort of vanish into the foliage around town, and is gone. Gary, we're back to you. We still have 5 Blightwalkers here on the boat.
Okay, so looking off the side of the boat, are Petra and the goat, because I know it's a kangaroo thing, but I can't remember. So to Gary, it's a goat. Is it going to be able to catch up, or is this something where we need to throw a rope off?
No, I mean, essentially, it can move about as fast as your boat. It's at a full speed. I mean, it's not necessarily keeping right neck and neck with you, but if you keep this up for the next 20 minutes, you'll be out of town and away, and you can find a way to catch up. This thing is moving fast. It's a fast land animal, so it's not that you're leaving it in the dust. I don't want to make it like that, but that you just were way ahead.
Okay, I specifically want to kind of... I don't even know the best way to word this, but I essentially want to interpose myself in between the lady giving birth and all of these things. Like, I will specifically like hold my action to keep myself between them. Like, I'm essentially blocking, foregoing attacking just to make sure nothing touches that area, or Leva making sure that baby comes out okay. And I'll trust that Oliver and I can kind of hold them off while that's going on. And I'll be like, Boatman, can you not, like, does this ship not have tentacles or anything?
And he's like, I'm holding on to him. I'm holding on to him. So you drop down your shield and use it to block Tabitha and Leva from the Lightwalkers on one side. And essentially, you're going to be using your triggered action, which means you can't take any other triggered actions to hold this defensive position, which means they always have a Bane to try and attack Tabitha or Leva.
Cool.
This time. But you still have an action you can try and attack. Because essentially, you've plopped down and you've given up your triggered actions to hold defense, but you still have your principal action. Because in a turn, you can have a triggered action which requires an event, and then you have your central action that you can do.
Cool. Okay. Well then, on that note, I'm going to do the not the driving attack, the wide attack again, to try to kind of drive them all back and maybe like knock them back. You know.
So what you're gonna do is maybe with your Buster Sword, kind of swing it out and maybe try and like knock off a few of these Lightwalkers.
I was going to use the shield, actually. I was just going to do the shield again, the shield rush, because essentially I'm just in all keep everything back mode. So, yeah, try to do that wide. So that's I can hit up to 3, or do I roll to see how many I hit? I don't remember.
It's everyone within your direct reach. So it's like...
Gotcha.
So essentially on one side of the boat, there's 3. On one side of the boat, there's 2. So you could like try to knock off the 3 or the 2.
Okay. I'll go for the 3, and I just roll a d20 with 1 Bane.
With 2 Banes.
2 Banes, that's right. That's right. All right. Boop. That is a 1. I don't think it gets worse than that.
Oh my gosh. So now you got to roll your Banes, and if you get below a 0 on a roll, the opposite effect occurs.
Remember that? Jedediah tried to do something cool and landed on his face.
I don't remember that. I'm real. So that's a 4 and a 2. So that's the 4. So yeah, -3.
-3. So you push out, and instead of knocking the Blightwalkers off, you go off the boat into the water.
Oh, wait. Is this a strength check?
No. In fact, you passed that by rolling a -3. You blew past the strength check. You blew past help from Gaia. You just went overboard in the water here as you're trying to make this exit.
I meant, was the original roll, would it have been affected by my strength? Because my strength is a 13,
yeah,
so that's
right.
a 3, which would have made me break even at a 0.
Oh, okay. You're right.
I forgot to add that.
Oh, okay. Yes. So boom. So you barely hold on for dear life. You reach out with your shield. It has no effect. It bounces off them. Your arm gets twisted. You're holding on. Oh, you're still in the boat. Okay.
So close.
So now they're going to attack. Let's see what happens here.
Like, guys.
Don't die.
Okay, so that's a 1 and a 1. So that's that's a 6 for Gary and a 3 for Oliver. Now remember, for you guys, Gary, you have it too. You have an ability. You got it your first level in your bonded path, which lets you reach into your essence and heal your healing rate. So everybody has that tucked in that can give you some extension on life if you need it. Oliver already burned his for today, but.
Right. And guess who's now down?
No.
This guy.
No.
Ooh, so did your damage equal your health?
No. They just what do you mean?
Like, did it go past?
No, yes. Essentially, you can't take more damage than you have health, essentially. So how much health did you have?
I had 2, and so I would have been at -1.
Gotcha. So then that just means you take 2 damage. You can't take more than your health. And so, boom. So you're unconscious there in the boat. And what we need to do is the next round, you need to roll 1d6. And if you get an odd, you wake back. Sorry, if you get an even, you wake back up. If you get an odd, you sink deeper into death. If you get 3 of those, then we never see Oliver again. Yeah, so you are hanging on for dear life, and Gary, it's in your hands. Okay, so we're back around here. So Petra, you're keeping stride. You can't get ahead of this boat. It's racing at full speed. Morwen decides to take an evasive action. He pulls out this bone dagger he's got on his belt, and he tries to go for one of the guys. And he does a couple of points of damage. He drives it into the eye of one of the Blightwalkers and rips it out with an eyeball, but this thing is still flailing and fighting. Gary, it's back to you.
Okay. Oliver's down, and we've got the lady who's having the baby. Oh, look, there it is now.
The baby is coming right now. That is correct.
Okay. Good stuff. Having fun. I'm going to as my what was the for this turn I forgot. It's an additional action, the side action. Triggered action. Yeah. Since I see him down for this turn for my triggered action, can I just pull Oliver behind me, like where this next to the lady giving birth? So now it's just I'm like, okay, hold the line. Nothing past this point.
Yes, you take your triggered action. He slumps down. You tuck him behind you. And the screaming has continued, and you start to hear the sound of a crying baby as it's birthed from Tabitha. And you have a new baby boy in your hands, Leva, that's sitting in your hands. And Tabitha is crying, and she's exhausted beyond belief. There's so much screaming and chaos right now. But you're holding this little baby boy in your hands. And Gary, what are you going to do for your principal action?
Man, I guess I'm just going to have to just attack with the shield again. That's all I really can do. I guess I'll do the same exact thing I did last time, where I roll the 20 and take the 2 Banes, because I feel like that's the only chance we have at this point.
Go for it. Roll it.
Okay, here we go. That's an 18, and then the +3, so that's a 21 minus 6. So
you still do it.
Yeah. Get out of here, please. There's children.
Boom. What you give the mightiest battle cry that even the demon of the north would be frightened by it. Wham! You slam that shield with everything you've got. It connects. These Blightwalkers, it's breaking nose, jaws, anything in its way, and boom, the 3 on the left side of the boat go crashing into the water. And there's now only the 2 left, and there's now only the 2 left on the other side. On the 2 left on the other side, and it's back to their turn. We got 2 misses, fortunately, and in fact, so they are reaching up and clawing at you, but you're kicking back with your heels, and the turn flips back around. Leva, you now have the baby in your hand. You set it on Tabitha. She was trying to hold this baby, and you can take an action besides deliver a child.
Oh, good. Leva's like, this is a lot.
This is definitely a lot.
Leva is going to, just in case, since she saw Oliver go down, she is going to just use her action to use her strength and essence to heal her healing rate.
That's fine. Boom. So you reach deep down inside of, you can feel that essence course through you, this divine spark from the gods that you've now tapped into, and it fills you full of this energy, and your wounds heal over, bruises fade away, and you're ready for action. Yep. All right, Morwen makes another swing with his dagger. Oh, he's got a hit. Boom. He drives it into the other eye of that Blightwalker that he's been working on. and it plumps into the water. There's now only one Blight Walker crawling away at you guys, and Gary, you have your action. And I'm assuming, Petra, you're just keeping time with the boat. Yeah, okay.
I just want to try to shove it off at this point. Like, with this shield, like... So, since I'm not doing the whole sweeping thing, I'm just targeting one.
You don't get any banes. It's just one
Cool.
man-to-man.
Okay, so do I just roll a die 20
Roll
for
one
this?
20, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a 2, so plus 3 is a 5.
So you slam it in the face, and it headbutts your shield back. It takes one action, and it claws at Morwin, and it tears open his leg here, and he's now starting to bleed. If he's driving the ship, and the ship starts to get a little squampus here, everybody now has a bane to do anything in the boat because he's bleeding and trying to hold on to the ship. And it's back to you guys. So it's Leva, you're first.
So there's still just
There's one.
There's one. I will try the whip again.
Go for it. Yeah, you can try to use the whip to either constrict them if you want to take a hold of it, or you can just use the whip as like a bludgeoning weapon to knock
Yeah,
them.
I'm just gonna try to just like whoosh.
Yep.
All right.
That's a technical term.
Yes, that is a technical term. All right. Yeah, it's a 7, so it's not.
The Blight Walker, this is a fierce Blight Walker. It is not letting go. It keeps crawling forward. Gary, it's your action.
Man, I'm a Spartan kick. I'm a demon fighter. I'm just gonna try to kick this guy off the boat. Oh, is Oliver alive?
Oh, yeah, Oliver, did you roll?
Am I allowed to roll?
Yes, I'm sorry, you should have rolled last turn as well. So roll twice.
Okay, that's that.
Roll the first time.
Get all.
I'm scared.
Okay, I failed once, but I got an even as well.
Nice. Okay, so you are essentially at 1 health. You're not dying, but if you don't get medical attention within the next few minutes, you'll start to die again. You stop. You will not die today, hopefully. You're holding on. Petra is still riding this queue with all of her might. She's like, this isn't what I do. I don't ride animals. This is not what I do. So, Gary, go ahead and give it a roll.
That is a 9 if we're using the strength modifier. That is a 12.
You deliver.
Just kick him off the boat.
This is We Are Sparta. Full on to the face, heel to the face. It breaks teeth, nose, and jaw, and sends that Blight Walker crashing into the water. Morwen has gotten a hold of this ship here, or as much as he can while he's still bleeding. And you guys, there's a baby in Tabitha's hands, and she's thanking you guys. Morwen is praying to the maker of mountains. Petra's on the side of the road, and the black seed is hanging on the edge of the boat. You have a lot of questions for Leva for what she has gotten. Clearly has had some nefarious intentions, and you, Petra, that was one more chance to connect with Stormcrow. But you do know that they keep calling you his pet, and that's something you have yet to discover. So as the sun is setting and you guys are cruising down this river towards the south, in the deep distance you can see Durst as the smoke is rising from it. You can see Blightwalkers tear at the buildings. Part of the ground is starting to open up, and buildings are falling in it. That is a village that come by the next day will be consumed back inside of Gaia. You guys regroup and all get on the same boat, and you realize what you've done here and what has happened here is certainly his birth is one for the Bard's song. And that's where we're ending our chapter tonight. Nice, guys. Nice.
Very stressful.
Wow.
Anxiety.
This is the anxiety here. So you made it out with a baby, a black seed, and you met a yoked out barbarian woman who left Leva with some thoughts that there's something deeper in what this object that you hold, and Gary has definitely proven himself as the man after making it through this. Though he doesn't know anything about women, that's been clear as well. Nice, guys. Thank you so much for coming to play. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
Ooh, it was
Thank
a
you.
lot of
That
fun.
was
Yeah,
It was
nuts.
guys.
fun
Oh.
stress.
Fun stress.
Thank
It's
you.
fine.
Fun stress.
Oliver has 14 hit points, and he took a total of 22 that whole session. So,
Oh,
I'm real sorry.
yeah.
no, you're not.
I actually am.
No,
I don't usually play mean characters, so I actually feel
I
very
love this.
bad about friendly
I love
fire.
this.
I know it hurts me too because I normally play a healer or at least healer adjacent. I'm like, I can't punch you better.
and that's what you do well.
Oh.
I love this. I love this way to set up. I love what you guys discovered and what has happened. And since this is a one shot, this quest is closed. We'll revisit these characters next time we play next month. It'll be the same set of characters, but time will have passed. Things will have gone on. Maybe some pieces left over from this. But for anybody who watched tonight, you can watch again. It's the same cast of characters, but in a new complex problem.
Yes, be sure to join us next month and every month on the last Wednesday of the month. And thank you so much to our wonderful cast and to our amazing keeper and to all of you viewing. Thank you for joining us. Please do spread the word about this fantastic game and bring your friends out next time we play. Those of you watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for the raid. And until next time, Mr. Keeper, do you have any special sign-off you'd like to give?
The special sign-off is this: is that pain leads to the answers. Ready?